Welcome, everybody. Today is July 26th, calling the meeting to order at 6:05. My name is Tammy Meltzer, and I am chair of Manhattan Community Board 1. This is our July full board meeting. Thank you so very much in the lovely hot summer for joining us. Hopefully we will have a very productive and efficient meeting tonight, and everybody can go enjoy the first day, I think, of cooler weather of the summer evenings. So with that, let's open our public session. Public session, just a reminder for people, all speakers will be timed, and the timer has popped up, so fantastic. We're going to go in this order in terms of to call on so we can group some people together. And then we're going to have a presentation also tonight from the Trust for Governor's Island, which we will leave them 10 minutes at the end of the public session so we could do some Q&A. All righty. So in order, let's go with Diarmund Joyce, and I apologize if I have mispronounced that. And then Abby Dowd and Rory Martin. So let's get Lucian, did you find them?
I'm on the phone with a member. I see Joy. Oh, there we go.
Mimi, can you unmute them and move them?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
I can indeed.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. This is Megan Joy. I'm here with my husband, Diarmid Joy. We're trying to open a restaurant at 121 Fulton Street, and the licensing committee approved us, but gave us a stipulation to close by 10 p.m. on Sundays. I'm here to respectfully request that this could be amended to 12. I know the committee said that we could come back in a year and request a later time, but by that time we wait that year plus wait for the SLA paperwork and approval, we're looking at almost 2 years with a 10 p.m. Sunday closing. Now I know there's a 20-story hotel behind us, and I'm sure some of those tourists and business travelers might want to get a bite to eat or something to drink after 10 p.m. There's a lot stacked up against mom and pop businesses during this time, and would just like to be given every opportunity to succeed. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak would be Abby Dowd and Rory Martin. Mimi, I'm going to need you to give us a hand with that one.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Abby Dowd. I don't know. I am a little bit technologically inept here, so I don't know how to get myself visible, but I guess I'll just start. Much like Diarmid and Megan, I'm also speaking on behalf of 121 Fulton Street. This business would be my first. Earlier this month, we were approved, as Megan said, for the 10 o'clock close. But just like she said, we can come back in a year and request a later closing, but by our lawyer's estimate, the earliest that we would be able to do this is January 2024. And even then, it is likely that these later hours of operation would not be implemented until summer 2024. And I'm just here today to really plead with you guys for our Sunday hours to be extended to midnight upon opening. The National Restaurant Association estimates that 1 in 3 restaurants fail their first year. And of the countless obstacles that we're going to have to navigate upon opening, staffing shortages, a budding recession, prolonged delays in acquiring various permits, etc., we just want to do everything in our power to ensure that we become a lasting local establishment on a street that just so desperately is craving some authenticity. With well over 50 years of combined bar and restaurant experience and an intimate understanding of how this industry operates, we firmly believe that staying open an additional 2 hours on Sundays is an imperative in our first year. Just additionally, giving local residents the option to get a local meal after 10 o'clock feels just like a hallmark of New York City. Further, there are at least 5 hotels within a 5-block radius of the restaurant, and it just feels antithetical in a city that never sleeps, to not have a place to go to get a local meal after 10 o'clock. My partners own 6 other bars and restaurants throughout Manhattan and Brooklyn, and just truly know how to own and operate local businesses and just care so much about bringing soul to a neighborhood. So I hope you can give us this chance. Thanks so much.
Thank you very, very much. And our next presenter, please. Rory Martin.
Working on it. I'm not seeing anyone with the last name Martin in the attendee section. If you could raise your hand if you're here, that would make it you a lot easier to find.
There's a
What's the-
Rory only. I
There's
suspect
Rory.
that would be it.
All right, I see. Thank
There
you,
you go.
Rory.
Hand is up, yes. Rory,
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
we can. Welcome.
Loud and clear.
Hi, how you all doing?
Fair to Midland.
Good. So I'm just going to follow up there with Dermot, Megan, and Abby, specifically touching base on the fact that hospitality is in our blood. We've been doing this for a very long time. It's our passion. It's something that we truly, deeply care about. We are very good at it, and I believe that we should be given the opportunity and the chance to bring everything we can have to offer to the neighborhood. And the extra 2 hours on a Sunday would definitely benefit both us as a business and the community and the neighborhood. That's it, folks. That's all I've got for you.
Okay, thank you so very much all for coming. And let's see if I have any. Nope. Okay, great. Let's move on to our next speaker. I know I'm not pronouncing this appropriately. Diarmuid Joy.
We already spoke. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So sorry. All right, then that brings us down to Maggie from the Hudson River Park Trust. Thank you so much. And Maggie, you will not be limited to the 3 minutes, so you can take a little bit longer. Thank you so much.
Maggie Dalal or Maggie Curtis?
Maggie Curtis.
Got it. Maggie, you should be able to unmute.
Maggie?
Yep, Maggie raised her hand. Maggie, okay,
There
okay,
you
good to
go.
go.
Okay, there you go, Maggie. Welcome.
Awesome. Bobby.
I can hear you.
Great. So I'm joining on behalf of Hudson River Park. Just wanted to talk a little bit more about our upcoming programming. We're moving into August, so we have free dance in HRPK up at Pier 84. We're doing Bollywood and Bhangra for the full month of August. We also have our Blues Barbecue Festival coming up on August 13th. It's going to feature some incredible local music acts and some of New York City's best barbecue restaurants. I think someone might want to mute.
Joe Lerner, you need to mute. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Yeah, so on August 13th, it's going to start at 1 p.m. and will go until 9 p.m. We have some of the best barbecue restaurants in the city coming out. We have food, drinks. It's free admission for all, and it's about 8 hours of free music. We're also partnering with the Joyce Theater and New York Public Library for a free dance performance out on Hudson River Park Pier 64 at 2 p.m. on Saturday, August 6th. We also are moving into the couple months of expanded River Project programming. We have Wet Lab look-ins at Pier 84, where you can meet a bunch of our estuarine sanctuary creatures, like our 1-foot-long flounder that was caught at Big City Fishing a couple weeks ago, and toadfish. Sometimes we have eels and turtles in there too. That happens 3 days a week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. We have Big City Fishing every Sunday and Wednesday. And we still have, as last month, 5 days of fitness programming, music programming, family programming, and a whole lot more. So we invite you all to check it out at hudsonriverpark.org. Thanks so much, Jess.
Thanks, Maggie. I'm just going to leave it open for a second. If anybody has a question for you about the programming, that they could raise a hand and ask it, unconventional as that may be, but it's nice to have you here. Not seeing any hands. We will move on, but if you could send us a link to all the programming, we'll be happy to put it in the newsletter and share it this weekend. That would be wonderful. Okay, moving on from Maggie, we're going to Wendy Cassidy. And after Wendy Cassidy, we're going to Sarah Krautheim from the Trust for Governor's Island, and then we will do our representatives.
Tammy, I'm not seeing a Wendy Cassidy.
She did sign in to speak. Let's see. I don't see her either, so she has dropped off.
Sarah, if you're here, can you raise your hand? I may have actually moved you in panelists already. That's why I don't see you.
Hi, Lucian. Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Sarah. Welcome.
Hi, Tammy, and hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me tonight. I wanted to share a couple quick updates about what's happening on Governor's Island and a preview of a few things to come this fall. Thank you to Community Board 1 and our stakeholders and elected officials for spreading the word about everything going on Governor's Island this summer. I'm pleased to share that we have had somewhat of a back to normal season. We are hosting events. We are back to hosting dozens of free public programs on the island, and we are on pace to set a record in terms of visitorship. So lots of exciting stuff happening, and hope you all have a chance to come out and visit if you haven't already. I did want to highlight a couple of upcoming programs in the next few weeks. On Friday, August 5th, we are hosting a free outdoor film series or screening in partnership with Film at Lincoln Center. We're screening The Wiz. It starts at dusk around 8:30 p.m., but really encourage folks to take advantage of our new late hours. We are open until 10 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, and then the area around the Manhattan Ferry Landing is open until 10 p.m. now every day. So folks can come enjoy the sunset, enjoy one of our fabulous food and beverage options at the waterfront, and really a great place to celebrate summer. That same weekend, August 5th through 7th, we are hosting our first ever celebration. We're calling it House Fest, really celebrating the community of arts and cultural partners that we host on the island each summer. So folks may know we run a program through our arts and culture program called Organizations in Residence, where we have about 25 organizations that set up shop in the former military houses in Nolan Park and Colonel's Row and present really fabulous free arts and culture exhibitions. So this festival will be the evening of August 5th and then all day August 6th and 7th. We're hosting a ton of special performances. There will be open studios where you can visit the artists in residence on the island. And we are also hosting our first ever outdoor dance party, which is all ages. Will be a really fun time on that Saturday. So Tammy and Lucian, I will send you some flyers, and we'll also drop a link in the chat about that programming. In addition to that, just a preview for fall programming, we recently announced that we will be hosting a major art commission starting in October. We are presenting a large-scale public artwork by Charles Gaines titled The American Manifest, which will open the first week of October. And I will share some more information about that as well, but great opportunity to come check out all the fabulous public art we have on the island. And then lastly, what I really wanted to preview for you all is many of you are aware that we in April released a request for proposals seeking an anchor academic and research institution for the Center for Climate Solutions. This process followed a request for expressions of interest that we released in partnership with former Mayor de Blasio, Congressman Nadler, and Senator Schumer. And from that process, we selected 4 finalists. So those finalists are in the process of submitting proposals through an RFP. And those finalists include university teams led by CUNY and the New School. They represent one team, MIT, Northeastern University, and Stony Brook University. Those 4 teams are currently in the process of developing proposals to establish a university and research institution on the island that will really focus on innovative climate solutions for cities around the world, and create a multidisciplinary educational program focused on tackling climate change. So we're super excited about this. Responses to that RFP are due in mid-August, on August 15th. And as we committed during the rezoning process for the South Island, we are really excited to share these proposals with you all and with the broader public. So we are going to be working with Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, with Manhattan Community Board 1 and the rest of our elected officials to host a series of opportunities for public engagement around these proposals. So we are still in the process of solidifying dates. These will kick off in October. We will be offering both in-person sessions for the public to learn about the proposals, to provide input, as well as an opportunity to provide input online if you are not able to attend in person. So just something that I wanted to preview. This is obviously a really important project for the city, hugely impactful and important project for Manhattan Community Board 1 in particular. This input will be critical to informing the selection committee, who will ultimately pick the winner as part of this process. And then, just in terms of the timeline which we are working with, we are hoping to make a selection from this process sometime in early 2023. But again, this is a really important project, and we want to make sure that we select the best possible partner for the goals of the project, for Governor's Island, and for the city as a whole. So stay tuned. We'll be sharing invitations and flyers and more information sometime in August, but just wanted to give folks here a preview of what's to come and make sure you know to look out for that information. And then last but not least, I know you all are going on break in August, but we are on the island every day, and would be more than happy to host any members of Community Board 1 for a tour of the island. If you've never had a golf cart ride around the island, it's sort of the quickest way to see everything going on. But, again, we're really grateful for our partnership. And if you are not leaving the city for the month of August, please come take a vacation on Governor's Island and join us. And with that, Tammy, I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Tammy, are you stalled?
Frozen.
She might be frozen, but I see Richard Corman has his hand up if it helps.
Correct, Justine. Thank you.
Yes, hi, Sarah. Richard Corbin. That was a very kind offer to host a tour of the island, and I wondered how we might take you up on that.
Sure. I'll drop my email into the chat, but you can just feel free to reach out to me directly, or Lucian and Tammy both know how to get in touch with me. So I'll drop some links into the chat before I sign off here. But yes, more than happy to host you all.
Lucian, do you know what happened to Tammy? I'm happy to step in here and move things along.
Yeah, I think you should step in while she's probably going to reconnect. But
Okie
in the
dokie.
meantime,
So what's next? Because I have absolutely nothing in front of me.
no problem. So let's see. I'm going to look at the sheet to see, make sure everyone's spoken. Oh, Rebecca.
I know
Rebecca.
Wendy had their hand up a few minutes ago.
Tammy, while you were out, Richard Corbin asked a question, and Wendy may also have a question.
I don't have a question. I'll have to check and see if I put my hand up. Although I have to say, I love hearing about Governor's Island, and I would love to be on a tour. And everything you're doing out there is really joyful. And I want to hear more about the 4 that are being selected. But I know that's in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy.
Okay, Tammy, I don't know if you're back yet, but Alice, if Tammy's not back yet, we have Hannah Wienerman and Max Deutsch, who are here to update us on behalf of their bosses.
Tammy, are you there? Well, why don't we get going with Hannah? Welcome, Hannah. Feel free to begin your update.
From Congressman Jerry Nadler's office. I just wanted to briefly update on a few things happening in DC and then one local matter. So last week, Congressman Nadler's bill, the Respect for Marriage Act, passed the House with bipartisan support. So the bill would enshrine equal marriage into federal law, which is ever more critical in the face of an extremist Supreme Court. The bill would also repeal DOMA and provide additional legal protections from individuals seeking to undermine marriage equality at the state level. Additionally, Congressman Nadler led the House Judiciary Committee in advancing the Assault Weapons Act of 2021 out of committee. So this was the first markup on an assault weapons ban legislation in about 20 years. The bill would ban the sale, import, manufacture, or transfer of certain semi-automatic weapons. So that'll go to the House floor for a vote. And when it does, I will happily update the board. Lastly, in the realm of abortion rights, the House passed 2 critical bills. One is the Ensuring Women's Right to Reproductive Freedom Act, and the other is the Women's Health Protection Act. The latter was actually previously passed by the House and blocked by the Senate twice, so we're hoping for a different outcome this time. But these bills would enshrine abortion access and protect the right of women to travel across state lines to obtain an abortion. Lastly, at the local level, we know that the monkeypox the cases are rapidly increasing in New York, and there's a lot of people that are high risk or have been exposed to monkeypox. So Congressman Nadler led over 100 Democrats in the House in calling the Biden administration to allocate $100 million to help clinics test for and vaccinate against monkeypox. So as the cases of monkeypox continue to rise, we need urgent action to ensure that clinics and health care providers across the country are well equipped with the resources and infrastructure necessary to meet the increased demand for testing and vaccination. So I know that the city partners are doing a great job at sharing information about testing sites and vaccination appointments. So if you have any questions about it at the federal level, you can reach out to our office. I can happily put my email in the chat or reach out to us with any federal questions. But I think I'm going to wrap up, and I am wishing you a wonderful rest of your summer. Happy to take any questions.
Thanks so much, Hannah. Are there any questions for Hannah Wienerman? And thank you to Congressman Nadler. I see one hand up. I'm not sure who that. I see Susan Cole.
Hey. Hi, Susan.
I just wanted to say, just tell your boss we'll miss him.
That's a conversation for later, but yes.
Anybody else?
Yeah. Hi, Hannah. This is Lucian. I saw that the city's Department of Health is calling for the World Health Organization to rename monkeypox to eliminate or reduce the stigma attached to that name. Do you know if there's any movement from Congress, a resolution of any kind that can also add their voices to that call?
I don't have an immediate update. I'm happy to bring it to our team and then we'll follow up with you when I have more information.
Thank you.
Hannah, while we're asking for updates, if you could give us an update on what's happening on Park Place with the federal jail and what is happening to that building. I know we've discussed that over time, and it would be great to get a little bit more information on that. If you have it. Thanks.
I don't have an immediate update on that, but I'm happy to check in with Rob and circle back to you and then, present to the board in September. And, if we were meeting in August, I'd happily do it then, but I'm happy to continue a conversation with you. Let me get some more information and then happy to update.
That would be great, because I know the Parks Committee and Paul Goldstein's committee is very involved in looking at that area in terms of improvements. And obviously it would be good to know what may or may not be happening with that building. Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, we'll set up some time to talk.
Anybody else? Looks like not. Lucian, so I'm sorry, who's next up?
Max Deutsch is also here.
Welcome, Max. Take it away.
Find him and unmute him.
I'm not.
Max, you should be able to mute.
Since I've been able to make it to a monthly meeting. So on our end, some, I guess, big update. Last month, we moved into our new office at 65 East Broadway, right off Market Street in Chinatown. So please, Monday to Friday, 10 to 6, we're open. Please stop by. Kind of community updates. So last week, the council member went on a kind of interagency rat walkthrough around Southbridge Towers. Went around kind of some of the big problem areas with the Parks Department, Sanitation, Department of Health, and then a resident of Southbridge. We went kind of around Drumgoole Plaza, under the Brooklyn Bridge, some of the rat activity there, down Fulton Street, and then kind of on the playground on the corner of Fulton and Pearl. And so we're following up with the agencies you have to figure out what the next steps are to kind of address some of the rat issues there. Legislatively, the council member introduced a number with council member Julie Menon, 15-minute delivery app legislation. So as I'm sure you've heard from our office before, one of the big issues we've been taking on is these 15-minute delivery apps. When it comes to a lot of their warehouses are not registered, so these bills require them to register with DCWP. And kind of increase worker protections through weight limits on how much the delivery people are allowed to carry, as well as getting rid of that they can't do the 15-minute guarantee is no longer a guarantee. So it gives the workers a lot more time. They don't have to worry about, driving unsafely or losing their job. Aside from that, the council members met with DEC regarding air quality monitoring at 250 Water Street. So we're just continuing the conversations on that, as well as been attending the CAC for 5 World Trade Center. And then, as I'm sure most of you know, there's the first neighborhood advisory committee for the jail next week. While a lot at first, against and still a big problem is it's not a lot of community members actually involved. The council member was able to get the mayor's team to allow more members of the community to join the call and the committee. So we'll get more community input there. And then budget-wise, we've managed to get, or the city council has managed to get the Department of Sanitation to have the funds to empty the baskets on the corner twice a day, every day. So hopefully those overflowing garbage cans will be a thing of the past now. We're also trying to just increase sanitation services in our district. And, we've had conversations with the Commissioner of Sanitation, to work on a better sanitation plan. In CB1 specifically, there's been $131,000 in discretionary expense funding for organizations in CB1. So, I think, well, hopefully a lot of the organizations down here will, have the funding they need to continue their programming. And then for the Harbor School, continuing to advocate for the pool and the basketball court. And on August 11th, so in about 2 weeks, the council member is going to be meeting with SCA to go over, possible plans and see what's feasible for the school. And then I don't know if this was mentioned last month, but we worked with the Speaker's office to provide 1.6 million for playground and recreational space for the Harbor School. So, it's kind of continuing to advocate for that. And then I guess lastly, actually in the budget, a lot of schools got funding cuts. As Councilmember, our office is continually, currently in negotiations, just trying to, bring back as much school funding as possible to kind of retroactively undo the cuts that were made. And then I think that's it, and happy to answer any questions.
Thanks very much, Max, and thanks very much to Councilmember Marte for all this work. Are there any questions or comments? Don't see any hands up. I have one. I would love the update on, you mentioned, the environmental situation at 250. Did your office yet receive any word on the request for that Councilman Marte made for the independent monitor for the borough-based jails? That is moving forward, it seems.
Not that I know of, but I'll double check with Connor to see if we've gotten anything and let you know.
Thanks so much. Anybody else? Okay. Wendy, your hand is up. Is that intentional? No. Okay. So Lucian, what is
we also have Andrew Chang and Theo Perez, but we're also expecting Senator Kavanaugh to sign on. And he's in a little pressed for time, so request that we put him on as soon as he signs on.
Great.
But in the meantime, I can unmute Andrew Chang.
Great, thanks. Welcome, Andrew.
Andrew, try to keep it to 3.
Hey everybody, Andrew Chang from the Manhattan Borough President's Office. I'll basically touch upon 2 things that the borough president has been advocating on. First off, regarding monkeypox, he's concerned about how there's not enough vaccines being distributed to New York City. So he's been pushing the federal government and state government to get more vaccines shipped to New York City and to ensure equity throughout New York, especially throughout the borough of Manhattan. And right now, New York City has about 30% of the country's cases, and the federal government is only sending New York City only 10% of all available doses. And regarding congestion pricing, weeks ago he was at the steps of City Hall, calling on the city to prepare for the implementation of congestion pricing. He is advocating he's recommending that there be variable tolls based on time of day and the size of the vehicle, immediate rebates for those who are eligible. He was asking for all-door boarding on MTA buses. He's asking for, a better bicycle infrastructure system, city bikes, and such for New Yorkers to use throughout the New York City. He's asking for a Manhattan night on the to be appointed onto the Traffic Mobility Review Board, and and he's also concerned about how e-commerce deliveries vehicles are blocking our bike lanes and bus lanes and sidewalks. So we need to address all those issues first before congestion pricing will be implemented. And so that's all I have to report for tonight. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Lucian, I'm getting a reminder from Tammy to close out the public session. Is that something that
we have
do at
one
this point?
more? I think we have one more liaison to give an update, and we have Senator Kavanaugh. So if you don't mind taking Theo Perez during the business session, then I say go for it. You can open and close the public hearing.
Okay,
Thank you, everybody.
there she is. Tammy, are you back?
I am, and
Okay,
it looks
thanks.
like everything's working, but that's the plan. Theo will go, and then we will close the public session, open and close the public hearing, and Brian will go right after we adopt the 2022 minutes to board minutes as part of the business session. Got it. Thank you. Theo, you're up.
Theo, you can go. Tammy, I'm not hearing Theo's audio. Perhaps we can go to Senator Kavanaugh while Theo works on his setup.
True. And there were hands up that I see that were, has everyone been called on who had hands up?
Everyone who signed in before 6.
Gotcha. Okay. There we go. All right. Then Theo, if you can't get your audio to work at the moment, let's move on. Actually, I just got a text Wendy Cassidy, who signed in at the public session. She signed up at the public. She did not. All right. Well, we're going to open the public hearing. Wendy Cassidy is here. She is Wendy C. And Lucian, do you have her?
Let me look
As
for
a panelist.
I
Yep.
thought it was Wendy Chapman.
It's
Wendy, you can unmute yourself.
Sorry. Hi. I will change my screen name for next time, I promise, so there's not confusion. I just
Thank
wanted to speak on 250 Water Street and the alarming new spikes in mercury that the community is not finding out about until way later. I guess there was like an emergency call to CB1 and a letter that went out days later, but some of us live directly across the street from the site. And it's terrifying. Our children play in the playground less than half a block away from this. And I guess the DEC can't release these numbers to the public until it hits the sites. And I don't know, sometimes these numbers don't get posted for 3, 4, sometimes 5 days. So I don't know, I would just wish there was more of a live community update, especially for the people that live directly across the street. And also the lobbying that happened with the numbers coming out. It was just also very terrible, but that's all.
Wendy, I'm going to ask to make sure you're on all of the outreach lists that for emails, correct? And everyone has signed up for all of them, and everyone has bookmarked the sites where the public information gets sent.
Yes, and I'll like go on there and stalk, and these numbers won't go up for days, and it's like, okay, I was exposed to a possibly 55 mercury spike, but I'm not going to find out about it till 4 days later. But I don't know, Community Board 1 and Children First are hearing about this.
Hi, Wendy. Yeah, thanks. So Laura Dodge, our consultant on behalf of the community, is aware immediately and sort of almost real time. I'm not sure, somebody seems to be on here.
Add a little more blue.
I got them. I got it. I'll mute them. Go ahead.
And
There.
responds immediately, even late at night and all. And we then have, and it's a good question because we're very concerned that the community knows.
Now remember,
the sense is that there is that one, that Laura is on it, 2, that she posts these things, and that we will then post it on our website under the external docs as soon as we get something and it's summarized. In an emergency, there's an emergency number that I know is part of the 250 BCP website, and Laura Dodge would alert us if there were something that we would then need to post there. So far, that incident you're talking about, or those incidents in the spikes, seem to have been taken care of with the laying of this Mercon. But it did get posted, I'm assuming. I actually hadn't checked by Lucian and by the board. But that's kind of the protocol that's being followed at this point, as well as HHC, I assume, also posting their updates. But we probably should get pretty specific about the emergency protocol. But as I recall, the way HHC had hoped and Langen is hoping to address this is through this emergency number and Laura's updates. But if you have suggestions of ways that you or anybody would prefer to have this happen, I think we are willing to entertain that, right, Tammy?
Of course, absolutely.
There was also a really strong petroleum smell that occurred probably about 5:30 in the morning on Saturday. I guess, like, if we could just get it into record, I reached out to the hotline and didn't get a response back, or like did get a response back, but it was very bottish, and I got one back probably about 11 hours later. So I don't know, I guess just like more real-time stuff for the community, especially for the people that live across the street, would be amazing.
Certainly, yeah, we'll certainly mention to Laura. I know she was very much on that petroleum odor release. I certainly saw it. I don't know how many hours after the fact, but I know Laura Dodge had really reviewed that very quickly, I think, and hopefully, it was addressed. But I agree, it should be as quickly as possible, and I'll talk to Laura. We'll talk to Laura about that at the next EPC meeting, just in terms of, or even before actually, to find a way that everyone can be comfortable with getting that info as quickly
Yeah,
as
especially,
possible.
I mean, I guess it was so early that there were no camp monitors
Wendy?
set up, and then, sorry, I'm done.
Thank you. We will get moving on that.
Can I just add one comment on that?
Paul, yes, I'm sorry. I was going to recognize you because I did see your hand.
Oh, you did. Okay.
I did.
I'll be quick. It's been pointed out to me that the monitoring device that did pick up the exceedance in mercury that caused the shutdown on the site is a different, more sensitive device than the ones that are placed in many other spots on the streets surrounding the site. So it would be good if Laura could look into that to see if perhaps the devices that are out there are, because they're not quite as sensitive, are not picking up these exceedances, which obviously is of concern to many people. Thank you.
Okay, Paul, thank you so much. With that, we are all done with our public session. We are going to close the public session at 6:48, open a public hearing, which we had posted on our agenda regarding the new brownfield cleanup site, potential brownfield cleanup site in Lower Manhattan. We did not get any signups for that particular hearing today. So we are going to, it was opened at 6:48 and closed at 6:48 because we had no signups either before or after at this time. So with that note, let's roll right along. We thank the members of the public for attending this evening. You are welcome to stay through the business session. If you have business before the board and the board does feel that they need to call on you, certainly feel free to remain, and everyone else. Unfortunately, we will not be recognizing hands up other than the board members. So with the business of the board starting at 6:49, I call the business session, and let's adopt the June 2022 minutes. Do I have any changes, or do I have anybody who can call the question?
Call the question.
Seconded.
Great. We're going to do roll call and then run right back to Brian Kavanaugh, and after Brian, Theo will go, because I know Brian has to be at a couple meetings tonight. So roll call, Mimi, please.
I'm sorry, Tammy, I just have a question for someone in the attendees. Is the letter?
Detta is a public member. She can stay where she is.
Just need
Okay.
some paper. All right, blank.
Blank, yes.
Brown Kennedy.
Brown Kennedy votes yes.
Thank you. Cameron.
Cameron, yes.
Thank you. Cassell.
Cassell, yes.
Thank you. Colley. Helena Colley. All right. Chang.
Chang, yes.
Thank you. Chapman.
Chapman, yes.
Thank you. Charkoudian.
Charkoudian, yes.
Thank you. Cole.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Coleman. Coleman, you out there? Jess.
Jess is absent. Sorry. Apologies.
Okay. No worries. Richard Corman.
Yes, Corman, yes.
Thank you. Kucha.
Lucia, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Curtis.
Curtis, yes, thank you.
Flores.
Flores, yes.
Flynn, yes. Forsberg.
Forsberg votes yes.
Thank you. Friedman. Jason Friedman. All right. Froman.
Froman, yes.
Thank you. Galloway.
Galloway, yes.
Thank you. Goldstein.
Goldstein, yes.
Thank you. Grant.
Grant, yes.
Thank you. Gupta.
Gupta, yes.
Thank you. James. Mariama here today. Mariama James.
She is. She's got to do the treasurer's report after.
Oh, well.
Well, she'll get here. Okay, keep going.
Okay. Joyce.
Joyce, yes.
Thank you. Ju.
Two, yes.
Thank you. Kay.
Okay, yes.
Thank you. Canal. Patrick Canal. All right. Kettering.
Kettering, yes.
Thank you. Capel. Joel Capel. All right. Lerner.
Yes.
Thank you. Lewinson.
Lewinson, yes.
Thank you. Lynn. Bernard Lynn. All right. Lyon.
Lyon, yes.
Thank you. Mahajan. And also, please let me know if I'm mispronouncing your name. Mahajan. All right. McHugh.
She's
McHugh,
resigned.
yes. I'm here. McHugh, yes.
John resigned.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you, McHugh. Melter.
Yes.
Thank you. Minsley.
Minsley, yes.
Thank you. Moore. Pat Moore. All right. Robinson.
Robinson, yes.
Thank you. Schneck.
Schneck votes yes.
Thank you. Jimmy Song.
Jimmy Song, yes.
Thank you. Vera Song.
Very yes.
Thank you. Townley. Bob Townley. All right. Z.
Z, yes.
Thank you. You.
You, yes.
Thank you. Zelter.
Zelter, yes.
Thank you. I see that it's like Friedman is here now.
Friedman, yes.
Thank you. And let me just go through real quick. Helena Colley. Jess Coleman.
Jess is definitely not here.
Okay.
Absent tonight.
All right. Mariama. James.
I'm wondering if that's who the M is. Huh. She's got to speak up, say something. Okay. All right, we're going to close down the minutes and let's move on and have Brian Kavanaugh give his report. And welcome, Brian. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Sure, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'll be brief. I think last time we were all together, I had given a report on the end of the legislative session, and then the Supreme Court made a couple of decisions and we went back to session. So on July 1st, we were in what is called an extraordinary session, basically to pass a very strong set of gun laws in response to the Supreme Court basically undermining our current law around who can carry a gun in public places. The Supreme Court ruled that after over 100 years, it is no longer permissible for New York to require that somebody have a particularized reason to carry a gun to protect themselves. In the absence of that provision, we basically passed a series of provisions that are intended to strengthen the requirements. We require training, both kind of book learning about gun safety and de-escalating situations and managing a gun effectively. And then we also require training in how to use a gun, including live fire training and then a test of your proficiency at handling a gun. We also created various background checks. We clarified the language that has been in law for a long time around ensuring that someone has the right character to possess a gun, basically saying that they can test for in various ways to determine whether someone can be trusted to use a gun safely and properly. We also passed a broad list of what are called sensitive places. The Supreme Court has said that states can restrict guns from sensitive places, and so we made a robust list of places that we think are sensitive where you won't be able to carry a gun even with a carry permit unless you're law enforcement or retired law enforcement. We also, while we were at it, passed some very good provisions around background checks. Currently, New York is one of among many states where we effectively let the federal instant background check be the background check for purchases. There are states that for a number of years have done their own background check who can do it much more effectively. They basically run the next check, but they also check other databases that state police are available. This is something I had pushed for a while and we got done as part of this package. So it should very significantly strengthen our ability to do background checks effectively. That bill combined with the package we did right at the beginning of June really are a huge step forward in terms of our gun safety laws in New York. Obviously, the Supreme Court's making our job a little more challenging, but we're doing everything possible to continue our track record of being one of the states with the lowest rates of gun-related death in America. We also, we had already, because of the leaked decision overturning Roe v. Wade, we had the opportunity to pass bills during the regular session that are protecting reproductive rights in various ways, including providers and people who might be traveling here, so that New York's laws are not put at the disposal of states that are trying to use laws to restrict people's rights. But in addition, now we've passed a constitutional amendment that adds these reproductive rights to the basic rights that people have in New York constitutionally. Most people on this call probably know that passing a constitutional amendment in New York requires 2 consecutive passages and 2 consecutive legislative terms. So we did first passage this term with an expectation that we'll pass it promptly again next term after January 1, and then it'll go to the voters. But we are trying to ensconce those rights in the Constitution of New York State. On a few community issues, I know you already had a conversation about the 250 water and the mercury release that exceeded the acceptable levels. It was good to see that Laura Dodge got information promptly and was able to review that and address it, make sure that it was being addressed appropriately by the developer. We have been convening with this board and with all of our elected colleagues, local elected colleagues, the working group we convened earlier this month, and we are continuing to review the safety protocols around the environment. And also we've moved into reviewing noise issues, and the entire recording of that, it is scintillating video. and it is available on the our Senate website. But again, very informative. I don't mean to make light of it. On 5 World Trade Center, as many people here know, the agencies are beginning the next phase of public approvals process. There'll be public hearing in the next month and a public comment period, so people express their thoughts on the project before any final approvals happen. And I encourage everyone with thoughts on that to submit comments. We are continuing to work with a number of advocates, including several members of this board, on ensuring that we maximize the affordability at the site. So that's an ongoing effort. We're also continuing to engage in the questions around coastal resiliency all over Lower Manhattan. I believe it is critical. It's many years since Sandy now. It's critical that we move forward expeditiously, but it's also important that we get the details of these projects right. So people know that this board has paid a lot of attention, particularly to the Battery Park City resiliency, and we will continue to monitor that and work with all of you to make sure that the Battery Park City Authority is doing that project in ways that will both be very protective and also reflect the community's interests. So I think I will stop there. And just on the legislative front, this is the season for the governor to sign bills. We're still pushing for signatures for a couple of bills I've talked about here before around Battery Park City, including some affordability provisions and strengthening resident representation on the board, and also a bill to allow residents of former Mitchell-Lama to participate in the SCREE and DREE program, which would directly benefit folks in Independence Plaza North. But with that, I think I'll take any questions or comments, or I'm happy to have you move on with your agenda.
Justine Kucha has a hand up for you. We'll do Justine. And so just a reminder for board members, it's 2 minutes, ask all the questions. If you have more after they've been answered, we come back to you to give everybody else a chance. Justine?
Thanks so much. I'll be quick. Senator Kavanaugh, nice to see you. Thank you so much. I have a quick question because you piqued my interest with your saying that it's bill signing season. Do you have a time frame for when the Battery Park City, the 2 bills will be presented, or do you not yet?
No, it's the normal process. So once the bill is sent to the governor, there are 11 or 12 days until the governor signs it or vetoes it. The normal process is the governor reviews bills and requests that they be sent when they're ready to take action on them. I have communicated to the governor's staff that there's a lot of interest in doing these things and doing them quickly, and obviously we passed them. We're very much interested in having her sign them, but I have not gotten a date from them as to when they expect to take them up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justine. Paul Goldstein, then Mariama.
Senator, the mayor, among others, has lobbied the legislature to take another look at the bail laws. And certainly there's been a couple of incidents recently with Lee Zeldin being an attempt on him, and his perpetrator was let out until the feds press charges. And then this incident just the other day where somebody who apparently had quite an arrest record, including possession of weapons, started attacking police officers. Does any of this give you pause and make you think that there should be some change to perhaps give judges a little more leeway in this matter? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. All of these incidents give me pause in that I think it is really critical that we work together to diminish violence and crime, and especially violent crime. But I think the crimes of disorder, and I hear this a lot from constituents, and I remain very concerned about it. We did the bail reform laws. We have now amended them in each session since then. We've taken 2 stabs at making adjustments to those laws, including adding provisions that allow judges to set bail when somebody commits an offense that the law defines as minor if they have multiple offenses. I do not believe that as a general matter, the significant violent crimes are up in New York because of bail reform. We have had an increase in crime and violent crime in virtually every part of the United States. Just about every major city is experiencing that. Obviously, the rest of the country did not do bail reform in this time period. So I have said, and the leader of the Senate, Andrew Stewart Cousins, has said that we will continue to review the law and try to get it right. But I don't think somebody attacks and tries to potentially mortally wound a candidate for governor because we don't hold people on minor offenses until they can pay cash. I think that there's a lot going on, and I think again, I believe it's reasonable for somebody to say if somebody's arrested repeatedly for the same thing that that we need to do something different than just continuously let them out without any of what the community expects to see as consequences. I think with respect to violent crime, if somebody has the long record you described of assaulting people and weapons charges, we did not change the ability of judges to hold people on crimes like that. And again, they're only holding them subject to their ability to pay. And that's been always the case. So, it's an ongoing problem. And I am open to working with law enforcement and working with my colleagues to refine it. But I think bail reform has become a proxy for, concerns a wide range of concerns people have. Many of the cases that are covered in the tabloids as examples of why bail reform is causing problems are in fact not cases where somebody was let out because of a change in the law. They were let out either because a judge used discretion and could have set bail and chose not to, or in some cases they were out on bail. They'd actually managed to put up a bond or bail and gotten out. So this is tricky stuff. We don't want to go back. We don't want to go back to the bad old days when New York was. I lived through New York when it was an incredibly violent place, and we don't want to go back to that. We also don't want to go back to a policy where we held people often for very long periods who had not been convicted of any crime at all, and the crime they'd been arrested for was a minor crime with no one seriously injured or threatened. And I think that was a bad system. This is our attempt to modify it. I think we'll continue to work on it, and I'll continue to work with you. And I know you have a lot of experience with this stuff too. So I'd love to follow up with you.
Thank you. We're going to go to Mariama and then Vicky.
Hi, Senator Kavanaugh. Was the state legislature afforded an opportunity to weigh in on this open primary thing? And if so, can you tell us why this has happened, where anybody from any party can vote in any primary?
Okay, now it's not that my understanding. I've seen news coverage of this. It's not quite accurate. It is. The law is that you have to be a registered member of a party in order to vote in that primary. And that has always been the law in New York and continues to be the law. There are states that have, an open primary usually refers to a rule where people can vote regardless. They can vote in any primary they want regardless of their party registration. In New York, we've always had a very restrictive, the most restrictive law in America about party change. And so the law was, if you wanted to change party, you had to do it 25 days before a general election. Otherwise, it did not take effect until the next general election, about 13 months later. So in 2000, this was a big issue because there were many people who, well in advance of the presidential primaries, decided they wanted to vote. There were particularly a lot of people interested in voting for Bernie Sanders who had not previously elected as Democrats. Registered as Democrats. There were a lot of people who wanted to vote for Donald Trump who had not previously registered as Republicans, and they were all surprised to find out that it's possible to register as a brand new voter who's never voted at all. You can register as a Republican or a Democrat, but you can't change your party. So we liberalized that, and what we said is, and this was my legislation. I passed this bill with my name on it, and it said basically we moved the date up to February 14th. Happens to be Valentine's Day. So it's the Valentine's Day rule says you can change your party registration from either no party to a party or from one party to another up to February 14th. And if you do it by then, it takes effect immediately. If you don't do it by then, it takes effect after the June primary. So in this circuit, what has happened now is the court has ordered an extra primary. So it is now the case that somebody could change their party registration sometime between June 28th and August 23rd, and then they could vote in that party's primary. And I will tell you that it is pretty unusual for people to change parties strategically to do this sort of thing. I'm sure it'll happen somewhere, but I don't believe that this is I don't believe there's a serious threat to either the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. I don't think large numbers of Republicans are going to decide they're going to officially make themselves into Democrats to vote in Democratic primaries. But we could theoretically change the law and make it more restrictive. But again, in most states, what you're describing would be perfectly permissible and always has been. And I don't think it's a big threat to democracy.
No, I appreciate the clarification because I either misunderstood or saw some poor reporting on it or both.
The reporting was rather, yeah. No, the reporting was rather alarmist. Like Republicans are going to mess up the Democratic primaries again.
Yes.
Have you ever tried to convince a Republican to switch a registered Republican to go become a registered Democrat, even strategically or nominally? I'm sure somebody somewhere will do it, but I really don't think this is a big concern.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mariama. Vicky?
Thank you. Senator Kavanaugh, I wanted you to know I wanted you to explain to me, like, what kind of thinking goes on behind, our political doors. I'm not talking about violent crimes, random violent crime, crazy people doing awful things. But when we have an increase in crime in general, that is a desperation, a cry from the public that, for example, is desperate. There's inflation, right? There's lack of jobs, good jobs. Inflation is almost 9%, but most of us are getting like 2%, 5% raises. Laws that are made against popular vote, like this insane Supreme Court. Do you understand that people, like we're driven, I'm not we, excuse me, people are driven to protest. Do we know the difference? What do politicians think? It's not a rise in crime, it's a rise in a cry for a better life.
I join you in that. Look, I think the Supreme Court has made some decisions that are really undemocratic. It is there is something structurally and fundamentally undemocratic about the Supreme Court especially because of the way the Republicans have handled confirmations. I think I don't want to, go too far down that road. Similarly, the U.S. Senate is a quite undemocratic body, and I think the federal government has been unable and unwilling to act on some core issues. I share the frustration that Americans feel, that New Yorkers feel, that my constituents feel. I am working very hard constantly to try to address the situation, to keep people safe in our streets by, I talked about the gun laws, but by ensuring that we are doing everything possible to keep people safe. On affordability, I have, as chair of the Housing Committee in particular, one of the biggest expenses people have is housing. And I have worked relentlessly to try to keep laws in place that will allow people to continue to afford to live in our community. We eliminated the deregulation provisions and fixed many of the other loopholes in the rent stabilization system. I favor good cause eviction, which people are pushing out. I passed several laws that are 3 different bills that are intended directly to affect people locally to ensure affordability here. And, we need to continue to work on that. Public safety, I think that there is a lot of chaos in our streets. I think one of the things that we need to continue to talk about is addressing homelessness. The fact that so many people are suffering and living in public places is it's an absolute failure of our society in terms of decency. And it also makes it very hard to manage the city, very hard to keep people safe when there are lots of people that need treatment and services that are living in public places. It's very hard to stabilize them. So, I've introduced a bill called Housing Access Vouchers, which is intended to create a very new large scale state subsidized program to pay people's rent who would otherwise be homeless. It's become a core priority of every housing group and a lot of our landlord groups. I am continually open to ideas on all of this, though. We hear your concerns. We're really trying to address these things on multiple fronts. And again, I think whatever happens at the federal level, we can make New York a place that works and functions. And, I'm very committed to that, and I work every day. And I know everyone on this board also is committed to that and works very hard to do that as well.
Right, thank you. I want you to understand that the sheer frustration of people. I'm not advocating for crime, but I'm just saying you have to be realistic. Rents are out of control for the benefit of a few landowners. People have no places to live. And prices are sky high. Buy an orange for $1.50. You have 4 kids. So we're creating a circumstances that then increase crime. We have to be cognizant of the root cause. And not like crime's up. Well, of course it's up. We're desperate. People are desperate. I mean, they're living on the street, for God's
Vicky?
sake.
Vicky, your 2 minutes are up. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Senator.
To be continued.
No kidding.
All righty. Senator Kavanaugh, seeing no further hands up, I appreciate the time and attention. I know you have other meetings to go to tonight, but thank you for joining us. We're also delighted if you choose to stick around, and if you don't, enjoy the summer, and we will see you in the neighborhood. So
I do need to jump, but thank you so much for all, it's been a great meeting. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all. Thanks.
my pleasure. So that puts us now to Theo, who has been patiently waiting from the assembly members. Theo? You know what, Lucian, I see Theo, but I can't get him.
He's unmuted.
Can you
Okay.
hear me?
I can. Theo,
Oh,
welcome.
perfect.
Nice to.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Last time I got halfway through my spiel and looked over and realized no one could hear it. Anyways, it is a pleasure to be here with you all tonight. Audibly this time, my name is Theo Perez, representing the Office of Assemblymember Yuleen New, and I just wanted to hit a couple of points about what we've been up to this month. First of all, in light of the recent uptick in COVID cases, we've been doing a lot of work with PPE distribution. We distributed, I believe, over 1,000 COVID tests in the past month to residential developments and community events around the district. We encourage everyone to stay safe, wear masks on public transit and crowded areas, and get tested if you suspect you may have been exposed. We no longer have tests to distribute, but we still have mask and sanitizer available. So if you're interested in that for your organization or for an event or for yourself, please reach out to our office. Second of all, with regards to the emerging monkeypox issue, New York City is, of course, the epicenter of this outbreak, and the response by local and national health officials thus far has been, shall we say, uninspiring. Yuleen signed on to letters to the federal government to request that more vaccine supply be allocated to New York City, and authored a letter to local public health officials asking that they collaborate with community organizations to more effectively monitor and contain the spread. If you're at high risk of contracting monkeypox, we encourage you to get vaccinated. And if you need help scheduling an appointment, please reach out to us. 5 World Trade Center, we've been involved with the Community Advisory Committee for that. And in light of Lower Manhattan Development Corporation, Empire State Development Corporation considering proposals this month, we released a statement reiterating Assemblymember New's support to the community efforts to ensure that development of the site be 100% affordable. We recognize that deeply permanently affordable housing is a dire necessity in Lower Manhattan, which is one of the highest costs of living in the nation, and that this publicly owned 5 World Trade Center site is perhaps the greatest opportunity for a flagship affordable housing development that we've seen in decades. So we're committed to doing everything we can to help the community push for that. The last thing I want to point out, so back in March, the governor signed Assemblymember New's bill to create a statewide confidential hotline that people can call to seek advice and learn their rights in the face of workplace sexual harassment. This month, the bill finally took effect and the hotline was formally launched. So if you're dealing with sexual harassment or you believe you might be contending with sexual harassment, we welcome you to call 1-800-HARASS-3. That's 1-800-427-2773 to be connected with experienced pro bono attorneys who can advise you. That's all I have, so I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have a
And I'm
picture
around
of this
also.
guy who's in attendance and he's on his iPhone, smartphone.
Joe, stay muted, I think. Theo, are you done?
I am all done. Yes, thank you.
All righty. Let's see if we have any hands up for Theo. Seeing no hands up for Theo, thank you very much. I'm not sure who Paul M is in our attendee section, but he's. All righty, Theo, thank you very much. We will move on with our evening. Have a nice summer. Mariama, are you ready for the treasurer's report? Let's put up the report.
Sure, I don't really have to take up much of your time. I mean, it's a brand new fiscal year. You know, we ended last year in the black and ahead of the game. We returned what we needed to return, what we're unable to roll over by law. And we kept the rest and we look good. There's the report. Any questions? Okay, I'm done. Good night. Thanks.
Thank you. Moving along from our treasurer's report, let's go to our district manager's report.
Hi, everyone. This is Lucian Reynolds. I'm the district manager of Manhattan Community Board 1. Hope everyone's doing well. So just a couple quick things. Early in the month, I worked with Borough President Levine's office to pull together a walkthrough to set a path forward to better school safety for the successor site, the PS 150. We had DOE attend as well as DOT School Safety Division. So we have a couple of real concrete items to follow up on, and we're going to keep everyone up to date with how this progresses. I'm also following up with DEP about the sound sensors for 250 Water Street. I have Umberto Galarza looking into it, so I'll also report back once we hear more. A little bit about speed cameras. I just want to let everyone know that on August 1st, New York City will begin enforcing the expanded speed camera law. The law will allow NYC to issue speed camera violations 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, year round. NYC DOT is authorized to operate speed cameras in 750 school speed zones. Drivers who drive 25 miles per hour or slower are better able to avoid crashes. Pedestrians struck at 30 miles per hour are twice as likely to die as pedestrians struck at 25 miles per hour. So that's from DOT. And with that, Tammy, I hand it back to you.
Okay, let's rock and roll. Let's put up my slides, get back to the presentation and move along. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so for those who had the opportunity and came, there's a picture from our going away party for Diana. So thank you very much. It was lovely to be out and about and see everybody in person. It was a delicious evening outside. Happy, hot and wet summer in the city. You can see that's a lovely crosswalk of tourists trying to get over to, in the absolute deluge last week, getting over to the 9/11 museum. So it just happened to be hilarious as it was pouring and they were all there. So couldn't resist. We had a meeting for 5 World Trade Center. Alice and I were at the Brown Bag meeting about resiliency, the 250 Water Street Working Group. We also had an opportunity to have a small tour of the Battery Maritime building. They are required to do public programming and will be coming to us in the fall with some outreach opportunities to help structure programming. They're looking for ideas and feedback. So they will be with us, I believe, in September. The Public Bathrooms Working Group had a great meeting, and there was a gentleman who's developing an app and used the working group from across Manhattan for information to see how he could benefit it and launch it, and ideally using it in association with the city, which would be awesome. And then we sent many letters, which I'm sure you have all heard of. And then the Trust for Governors Island, it was very nice to have Sarah here. They will be coming to us. If everybody remembers from last year, we had several meetings with them. We are working on a schedule this time, so it won't be so last minute, and even potentially maybe a dedicated meeting so people can really have the time to understand the RFPs and to understand the changes and to be able to weigh in and speak with people. Next slide, please. Okay, obviously, no one has forgotten about Brooklyn Bridge, Manhattan. And at every point, when somebody talks about public space, we're talking about how much we need it. And we need the public space. There's just the effect of the public realm and the construction projects. If we had Brooklyn Bridge, Manhattan open today, would be an unbelievable little oasis on the east side. Congestion pricing panel, you heard Senator Kavanaugh. Those are the bills we still need signed. We have a new community liaison at the first precinct. Brian Nelson, who has replaced Tommy, is now gone and has accepted a position at the Downtown Alliance. We invited Francis Ford to join Quality of Life or Executive. In an ideal world, he'll come in August so everybody can meet him. The Borough-based Jail Neighborhood Advisory Council meets on July 28th, same day as Borough Board, and our National Night Out, which we co-sponsor with NYPD, is August 2nd. Please share the information with your buildings, invite all the neighbors. It would be great to have a large turnout It's not often that we get fantastic free events, especially over by the seaport. 250 working group will meet on August 9th. We have no meetings for the month of August other than executive on the 18th. Pending all rules, I'm assuming at this point it will be a hybrid meeting. We will be in person at the community board office, and some people may be online. If that changes, we will certainly let you know. And lastly, I know this is after when I may see you or not see you all, but I certainly hope that everyone gets out. Primary voting day is August 23rd. If you don't know where to vote or how to vote, I'm sure we can share some information for you. Fill in an absentee ballot and vote early. And with that, I look forward, if I don't see you all in August, once we're done this evening, I will see you all in September. Have an incredible summer, enjoy some time off, and ideally, we won't need any emergency meetings. Fingers crossed. And with that, I close my chair report. Alice, I'm going to help you with executive.
Okay, well, you were sorely missed, but we are happily not having a resolution on item 1 because Kanisha has resigned from the board. So that is one down. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to participate in the way she wanted to. The second is going to be a resolution. Should we do that first? 108 South Street was an application for license, which does not seem to be the least bit controversial. I don't know if Susan wants to speak to that or if we are just going to go ahead and vote on that.
But there is nothing controversial about that particular application. The way he submitted it to the committee was it lacked a lot of sufficient information, and he redid the application and said was requested to send it in before the executive committee meeting, and it was brought before the executive committee, and I thank them for looking at it and approving it. So I submit that with the committee's support and approval.
All right, well, should we, can we call this to question and vote on this, or?
I second.
Okay.
All right.
Alice, because we've already done roll call, you can do affirmation. You don't need to do roll call.
Okay.
Right, so.
Mimi,
go
take it
ahead,
away.
Mimi.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Thanks. Does anyone oppose? Does anybody want to abstain or recuse themselves? All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Mimi. You know,
Sorry to interrupt. I see a few members that came in after. I see Joe Capel, Mariana, etc. Please check on those.
So yeah, I'll need a vocal
need-
vote for Capel and James.
And
So if you were not here during the open roll call vote, please announce yourself to Mimi so she can record you.
James, yes. I'm sorry, I went to go get some potato chips.
This is Canal saying I'm coming in.
Potato chips.
Yeah, potato chips.
And
Hi, this is Joel. I was chasing 15 skateboarders outside 3 Hanover Square that was destroying the square. So I had to call the park police. It seems that they're intent in destroying this park once and for all, and all the, I guess, the vegetation, the plants, and everything else that's here. So for the last hour, I've been outside with the police chasing away skateboarders, and one of our residents was actually assaulted by one of the skateboarders. He put his hands on her. She went to First Precinct to file a complaint. So
Please
that's why I
forward.
was late.
Joel, I'm sorry you had to experience that. Please have her forward the complaint to CB1 and let's get Lucian following up with the Parks Department.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joel, how do you vote on this?
I vote with the committee. So yes.
Okay, cool, thanks. Oh.
Okay, did you hear me? Mimi?
Yeah, sorry, I was putting everything in the withdrawn. But yeah, so Paul is yes, James is yes, Moore is yes, and did I miss anyone in that? All right.
Al is a yes.
Who is that?
Okay.
Very
Canal.
quiet. That's Canal. All right.
All right, so Lucy, thanks for sending around the urban planning job posting. it's an extraordinary job opportunity, obviously, for an urban planner, somebody who's, educated in this field. And, we talked about it at executive to try to send out that posting that Lucy sent around to anyone who you think might be interested, particularly graduate schools of planning and the like, or, other connections you might have, because it's really sort of critical that that post gets filled. And then, Tammy, we had Lucian present on items 3 and 4 about member absences and the discretionary actions consultant. So I don't know if you or Lucian want to do that, but I will kick that over to you guys. And there you go.
Lucian, let's have you pop in about both of those, and then we need to introduce Onej afterwards.
Sure. So I spoke a little bit about member absences. We've been having some trouble achieving or holding quorum for a couple of our committee meetings. It's going to be really important for CB1 after the summer recess to redouble our efforts to attend all of the committee meetings for which you are a member. One thing that I did bring up was that there are clearly some committees that some members don't have much of an interest in. If that's the case, if you're not finding yourself attending those with consistency, let us know. Tammy can look to see if she can rebalance the committee to put you on something that either fits your schedule better or your interests better. But if there's not a second committee that you can commit to, then it's also worthwhile to kind of look inward to see if this is maybe your opportunity to go to being a public member of your main committee and thus not have the responsibility of having a second committee and full board if there's a time crunch. The reason why I say that is because I think, done that successfully with a couple of members where they've been able to pivot to being a public member and stay as engaged as they were with their favorite committee. But really, overall, when we are down members every month, it hurts our ability to do timely work for the public to make their schedule around our agendas that we publish. Because if we have to push things again to executive, then the public has to take more time out of their schedules as well. So it's something that we're really going to be pushing on. Yeah, and if anyone has any questions about that process, please do reach out to me. The last thing for the candidates for discretionary actions consultant, I'm thrilled to announce officially at this full board meeting that we have Onej James joining us. Onej is actually powering the presentation right now, so she's already 100% picked up on her responsibilities. She's been doing great. We've been hearing lots of really great feedback. Her email is onej@mcb1.nyc. I will put in the chat, or she can put in the chat. Definitely say hello. Super friendly. And Tammy, if it's okay, you can just give her a chance to say hello to the board.
That was actually my intention. Camera on,
Great.
agenda off, and yeah, that sounds great.
Manish, we kind of catch you by surprise.
There we go. No, not really. I kind of expected to be introduced. Hello, good evening, everyone. It's great to be here, and it's nice to finally see the entire board. I know that I was introduced to the licensing and exec committee. They've been great so far. I'm having a great time working with everyone and learning the ropes, and I hope I can be beneficial to this board and to the work that you do. Thank you.
And with that, I'm actually going to let people ask a question if they'd like. If that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
We have a quiet board who wants to get going for the summer.
I just want to sing your praises, Tammy. I have to sing Onej's praises. It's Alice. I really, you were tremendous and helpful, and already in a landmarks issue that came up, extraordinarily astute and incredibly helpful. So I just want to say Thank you.
Yeah, can I jump in and say for licensing, she's a godsend because with all of the information that we needed to have access to, she's like spot on. She is a delight to have in addition to this program.
So we are all excited. Let's make sure we don't crush her in her next month. Give her time to come up to speed. She will be running her own meetings come the fall, just like everybody else in the team, but we are really excited to have her here. So thank you, thank you. And with that, let's head back to our agenda. And Alice, I'm going to ask you to take it away. I think we went over everything that we needed to for environmental.
Okay. Solution, you've got some slides there, right? We had about a 3-hour meeting that covered a lot of ground. Justine's going to talk a little bit about the South Battery Park City resiliency phasing. Right after that, we jumped into the overall phasing and the update from Jordan Salinger from the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice, who presented, I would say nothing particularly new, but it was a very helpful meeting in that we finally got what we've been asking for many years, which is a kind of better understanding of how all the projects work together, both in terms of their timeline, their expense, and frankly, what exactly the strategy is and what they are responding to climate-wise. And there's a great slide of that I very much hope we can put up, Lucian, because that I think kind of is the one slide that.
Oh, Nish, can you advance one?
Let's
see. Let it go in. There we are.
Lucian's finding it. Just give him a second.
Yeah. Anyway, so just to understand that one of the things that Jordan finally acknowledged, and it was really, I think, inspired by the Battery Park City Authority residents who are challenged by and are challenging the accuracy of the modeling upon which their plans were based, and particularly, of course, with Wagner Park and whether there really was a need here. And Gwen Dawson also very kindly responded to that. And I have a slide that also sort of identifies the key points that she talks about. But basically, Battery Park City is designed to protect against 2050's 100-year storm and sea level rise. Whereas at the adjacent site at the Battery, that is raising the esplanade to protect against only sea level rise. And that was always a little tricky to fully understand. But the idea is that the park would basically be, if you can use the word, sacrificed. And that later there'll be, I mean, that's one part of it, but the bigger strategy is there will be sort of ideas that are going to come perhaps from Army Corps and understanding bigger coastal issues, bigger potential infrastructure that could happen that will look at that, but that there's a distinction here. And then we moved up the coast and looked onto the East River, looking at the seaport coastal resilience. I guess we're still not finding these slides, but anyway, we were raising the esplanade.
Oh, Nish, I think they're there now.
Oh, there we go. So it's before that. I don't know. But anyway, I'll just keep going. That's it. Yeah. I'll keep going back. The first slide. No, these are all going the opposite. So it doesn't seem to be, those are on the Battery specifically, but that's fine. Not sure where this slide at. Okay, well, anyway. These are, yeah. Whoops. Okay, we'll get to there. So anyway, just to know that the seaport coastal resilience was raising the esplanade to protect against sea level rise and smaller coastal storms, to be distinguished from the 2050 100-year storm of Battery Park City Authority and sea level rise only of the Battery, and then Brooklyn Bridge Montgomery also against a 100-year storm. So it was confusing all along for many years for all of us, and they explained why on each approach. And we got a little bit more of a comprehensive understanding. Whether you agreed with it or not is a different point, but that was helpful. And then the coastal modeling question was answered by Gwen Dawson, and she claimed that this was not, that the coastal modeling for Battery Park City at Wagner Park was not based on any outdated models, of which that was challenged, that the flood protection models used to develop South Battery Park coastal resilience plans is not in fact outdated, and they're built to existing FEMA standards. They're compliant with all local laws concerning New York City building codes, and they're consistent with the citywide approach of all the New York City's legal standards. And there was a lot more detail on all of this, which of course I encourage you to do what you always do, which is to go to the YouTube and spend a happy moment looking over whichever part of this might interest you. What's up on the screen right now is the construction timelines. So this is for the projects going from 2025 onwards. So you see that the North and West Coastal Resilience projects go from the summer 23, but in fact, it's this summer 2022 that begins Wagner Park. And you'll see the timing for Seaport Coastal, fall of 2025 to winter 2027. And the financial Seaport plans, not obviously, will be updated. Okay, I think we could go to the next slide. I'm not sure where we're at, but that is the fall project that we're looking at, which is, of course, the Battery Park South. So that's a 2-year project. Next slide. And then this, we're jumping ahead here. If you could just show, we had a presentation by the Parks Department at Stantec on updating the information about the coastal resiliency project of the Battery. There wasn't a great deal that had changed. Some of the things that we brought up in our last meeting were addressed. The one thing that the committee felt wasn't a success entirely in question was the beer garden behind the restaurant. If you could show, Lucian, the plan, or Onej, that comes before, not the detail, but that you're showing here, the maintenance and operations. Yeah, there you go. So that's the overall plan of existing on the top and proposed below it. And on the far right, clicker, where you might know where the Battery restaurant is, that area behind, which was the beer garden, is the area that people felt could the question is, and that appears in the resolution, do we really need to give this over to trucks and car use and maintenance for the park? Could this have a better use? And the Conservancy themselves, Rory Price, actually supported us on this part of the resolution. We did speak with her. She is in agreement with a great deal of the plans, but points out that people should be aware of how dramatically, even with the 3 to 5 foot raising of the wharf, this is going to change our experience. So instead of seeing an open view, you'll be seeing people walking as if you're 5 feet up. And she, points that out, and it's an important point, which Wendy Chapman, our co-chair, has often pointed out the need to really make the public more aware of what's coming down the pike with these tremendously impactful projects. The next slide shows the detail. Okay, so that shows the fencing that went around this maintenance and operations area, which people challenged as being a little tough looking. And so the recommendation, again, in the resolution, is to have more planting and higher trees, which again, Rory Price of Conservancy thought was a good idea. So I think, I'm not sure what else comes after that. I think that's pretty much, in a very summarized version, the sort of key things. The construction staging in terms of the Battery Park City was, to me, incomplete. But again, I'm going to leave that to Justine to review. But I think we're going to need more information to be sure on that going forward. Can we move on to, are there any more slides there?
Do you want to do the resolution on this one, the Battery Resiliency Project? Because it
Sure.
says, since you just did that,
Sure.
let's do the resolution on that one.
Good idea. Okay. Are we going to put that up, or everyone has it? So are we so
You
basically
all the slides. So let's just do the resolution now.
Yeah. So So the resolution is for the benefit of the Public Design Commission, which will meet and discuss this as a final design, as I understand it, on August 8th, which is when PDC meets. So we're basically supportive of the design, except for the parts that I just identified. So if you look down at the therefore be it resolves, Manhattan Community Board 1 supports the LMCR project design and thanks MOCEG, which is the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice, formerly Recovery and Resiliency, for working with the community and the Battery Park Conservancy to arrive at this design, which leaves the Woodlands area, Urban Farm, Bosque, and Garden Bikeway intact. And I did want to point out that, again, Lori Price of the Conservancy does feel she has worked very much hand in glove with the Parks Department and really wanted to applaud them, whereas she feels that it wasn't exactly the same experience, perhaps entirely with the Battery Park City aspects of the project at the north end. And lastly, CB1 urges PDC to encourage the Department of Parks and Recreation to consider options to mask the storage area fencing and improve the proposed storage area in the final design. So that's that. Can we call that to question?
Let's see, you have a hand up by Justine.
Oh,
first.
thanks.
Sorry, I have a
didn't see
question,
that.
Alice, but not about the resolution. I'm happy
Oh.
about that as long as I can ask my question
Yeah.
after do the
Thank you,
resolution.
Justine.
Thanks, Justine. Sure.
Okay, so are there any questions on this resolution going for PDC? Seeing none, let's call the question.
Call the question.
Seconded. Mimi, take it away.
All right. Does anyone oppose this resolution? Any abstentions or recusals? All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Mimi. So last, I think.
Can I ask my question?
Oh, certainly. I'm sorry. Sorry, just.
That's okay. Sorry. I want to get that done. But just, I wanted to go back because this was a really big issue for me. And we did spend some time talking about it in your committee. And I wish we could have found the slide. It was similar to the one that said the dates of the construction, but then there was another one that talked about what they were building to. And I think that's what you were going to address. So in that, they basically had all the levels of the protection. And you had the Battery Park City North, you had the Resiliency South, you had the little baby one that's in there that they haven't had any, they're not going to be planned yet. And you go all the way around. So you've got the whole U of Lower Manhattan. That one. Okay, stop. We'll go one more back. It doesn't tell you not that way.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. The slide, I had hoped to get it up there, but it's not
Not
here.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, it lists all the plans, and in it, it talks about which, what is being built to. So what I found fascinating was that all of the Battery Park City Authority plans, everything to do with Battery Park City, was being built to the same standards as the Brooklyn Bridge, Montgomery Coastal Resiliency BCMR plan. And then, as you noted, you've got the financial district and seaport plan that's being built to a different standard that's the 3 feet, and the seaport coastal resiliency, which is something else. But I did ask Jordan, and he said that when it's all done, so when it's all done in 2027, if that's the last date, no matter which plan you're doing and which level you're planning to, all of Lower Manhattan will be protected. And I found that to be the most persuasive statement ever to say why this all makes sense as a contiguous plan. And I guess my question is, do you agree? Am I saying it right?
We are only protected, all of CB1 is not protected, all of Lower Manhattan is not protected, because once the north end of the Battery Park City Resiliency Project, there is zero protection in their north. So
yeah, yes, 100%, but I'm talking about the bottom. Because yes, you're correct. They need to keep going up, but that's not, well, that's more of the city, right? That's everybody else that has to step in.
That is the question. Yeah, I'd say that given the recent flood maps that were published, thankfully, to Matt in the broadsheet today, the places that are acutely in need are not yet appearing on this map, including exactly what is happening in Friday Seaport, and of course the entire part of Tribeca and the West Side. I mean, these are immensely important, and Chinatown.
Exactly.
Wendy has her hand up, Justine, so she goes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wendy?
Am I unmuted? Okay, sorry. Thanks, Justine, for bringing that up. I think I should just comment for a second because I've actually been talking to random strangers, as everyone knows, about the Wagner Park project that's coming forward. And while there are signs up, there's still a need to explain more to the public what's happening. As we all know, that's my big pet peeve. But I also want to comment that, especially the article in the Post, and I talked to one woman who said, you know, her reaction was so surprising. She just said, oh, there's just a bunch of jerks that are, you know, doing this. And, you know, it doesn't even make sense. And I spent about a half hour speaking to her saying it's much more complicated than that. So I would just ask everyone on the community board to talk to your friends and neighbors about what's happening. And, you know, we don't all have to agree. It is democracy, but I think the rumor mill and the recent press, which is getting a lot more attention, has kind of put things in a light that I felt like it was too extreme. So I just want to go on record that, you know, I don't want to kill, once again, the good for the perfect. So I'm a huge fan of getting started because Hurricane Sandy, you know, it's been a long time and we're going to have another storm. And to Justine and Tammy's point, we have so much more lobbying to do to protect the rest of Lower Manhattan that will flood. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy. Anybody else on this topic?
I see no hands. So I think you're ready for your next resolution, yes?
Right. Well, yeah, sure. I'll do the resolution first and then I'll do Laura Dodge. Okay, so it's a brownfield cleanup program application for 111 Washington Street, which is also known as 8 Carlisle Street in Lower Manhattan. This came to us kind of on a sort of very late, and we weren't quite sure what to make of it. And as a result, because we didn't really get to dive in to the whole application and folks hadn't really been able to reach out to neighbors and such, we weren't necessarily going to advocate for it to be entered into brownfield cleanup program without knowing a lot more about it. So basically, we have a resolution here that allows the public to be aware that this is happening, to recognize that we certainly support the general idea of cleaning up toxic sites if indeed this is proven by DEC to be toxic. And we identify in this resolution to make sure that city and state agencies work closely with residents in the neighborhood about what is being proposed here in terms of development. So it's basically the resolutions to therefore be resolved are that the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation exercise great caution with the determination ensuring that any proposed remediation and development will provide an unquestionable and quantifiable benefit to the neighborhood and community at large. And 2, CB1 recommends that all relevant state and city agencies include the neighborhood residents, and specifically those at 109 Washington Street, in all communication and future meetings concerning any next steps with regards to any potential cleanup and development of the site. So that is that. Can I call this one to question?
Question.
Yes, but you've got I just want to note it for the record that the wrong resolution is up. They've got the resolution for Transpo, which is the next committee. They need your second resolution up.
Indeed, that's true. So this is called the Brownfield Cleanup Program application. It's part of the Environmental Protection Committee's 2 resolutions. There we go. Thank you. So there it is. I'm sure people had an opportunity.
Question was called, I seconded, so.
Great.
Thank you. Does anyone oppose this resolution? Are there any abstentions or recusals? All right, thank you.
Okay, and then the last update was Laura Dodge from Excel, our independent consultant on 250 Water Street. And today, right before this meeting, she emailed us with her update, which again will go into our website. And I'm just hoping that could be, we had screenshot it, and hopefully this could be presented here or no. Yeah, there we go. So I think she's extraordinary in giving an amazingly comprehensive update. I'd say none of it looks catastrophic, thankfully. It's, I think that the key takeaways here are that the contractor is adhering to the remedial action work plans and the construction health and safety protocols. And she identifies that as including the washing of truck tires and the tracking, and the decontamination pads, and the proactive spraying of Mercon X, which had to be done the other day when there was the high mercury reading. And I would urge you all that are interested, particularly Paul, you had mentioned this about the camp stations and the handheld Jerome J505 mercury vapors analyzers. She talks about that. She says there were 9 camp stations set up by Langen, and all but one of these stations were equipped with that Jerome J505 mercury vapor analyzer, in addition to the monitors for the volatile organic compounds. And she speaks about the representative Abby Lodge being on the site every day from the start of field work at 7 all the way through, and always equipped with another one of the handheld Jeromes. And I guess in a lot of detail, but I guess the takeaway, I'd asked her to summarize it, but I don't think she had a chance, was just that things seem to be are going along correctly. But the point raised earlier is a really critical one, which is, and I think Lucian's going to put up in the chat, the hotline for when there is a problem. We really need to know about it quickly, and so does Laura Dodge. So that being the community board and Laura. So I'm going to find out from Laura how she wants to handle the emergency. I can't remember what she's asked us to do, but I will absolutely let everybody know that. That's it, Tammy. Thank you very much. And I want to say, have a great month. Happy summer, everybody.
Okie dokie. Let's move on. Dr. Betty Kay, welcome to Transportation and Street Activities. And while that's loading up with the agenda, a note that for people who have not signed in yet for attendance, it's a general reminder, please do so. And in the chat is also the 215 Water Street construction hotline for calls and SMS. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm a little nervous to see if my slides are actually going to be here. So if you go to the next slide, so I can be assured of what I'm going to see. Great. We have 2 resolutions, and that's all to do tonight. The first one that I'm going to do is, could we go forward one, please? Thank you. The first one is the Lower Manhattan Pedestrian Priority Street Study. This is DOT's terminology for what they're doing. This, in fact, many of you should remember, Polly Trottenberg held, when she was the commissioner, held meetings for the stakeholders back in 2019 and 2020. It's been pretty much suspended with nothing going on for a long period of time. And what we heard last month from the DOT is to expect a stakeholders meeting coming up in early fall. So this resolution is an attempt to lay down really everything updated for what the community board position is on the project as a whole. Hopefully to try to move it forward a little bit more than a small pilot. So this was acted on by many people, and the resolution is therefore be it resolved, Manhattan Community Board 1 insists the New York City Department of the DOT work with relevant New York City departments and agencies, as well as our community board and other community stakeholders. 1, to account for the $500,000 mobility study that was promised in 2019. That was discretionary funds from the council member, if you recall, to develop a vision for the financial district streetscape that prioritizes pedestrian mobility and safety while considering all stakeholders' needs and means of mobility. And 3, to make sure that all work done in FIDI be considered and coordinated in the context of how it will best further the neighborhood-wide plan before any permits are issued and any work is started. These all cover various big concerns. Next. Next slide. Thank you. Be it further resolved that the community board implores Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine and our council member Christopher Marte to make a public pledge to support the creation or adoption of a community-wide plan for FIDI that prioritizes pedestrians by increasing pedestrian safety and space allocated to them. A better balance is needed for how our public space is used. Also, to work with the New York City DOT and other relevant agencies and departments to implement changes, even low-cost installations that will quickly advance some neighborhood-wide improvements. Those are spelled out in the whereas statement. And the final, therefore be it resolved. This is for our mayor. So we ask Mayor Eric Adams to support improving pedestrian safety and space in FIDI as a way of revitalizing New York City's second biggest commercial district, which is one of his stated priorities at this time. So I'm looking for hands if there are any people have comments or questions.
My hand is up.
All right, hold on,
I
Joe.
see. Let's go to Mitch Froman, then Eric Yu, then Richard Corman, and then Joe, you can go forth.
I'm just turning my video on.
Thank you.
This is, like I said, I'm on my phone, so I'm not able to see everything great. This is the one where it's also included in the citizen getting a monetary.
No.
No.
This is about FIDI.
This is about.
Okay, I'm sorry. Then I'll wait for another. Okay, sorry, Betty. I'll put my hand out for this one.
Okay, great. Eric?
Yeah, hi. This resolution is for the Lower Manhattan Pedestrian Priority Street Study. but
Correct.
The whereas and the statements in there, it's excessively pro-cyclists. I want it to be known that pedestrian safety also requires riders of bicycles, electric bicycles, and scooters to adhere to traffic signals and traffic regs. The same ones cars, trucks, and all pedestrians must follow. I mean, cyclists, electric scooters, they are also a risk to pedestrians. So if we're going to have all these statements about increasing bicycle parking and storage and electric delivery, electric bike deliveries, for freight, something needs to be done to ensure they adhere to traffic regs and rules, because they never stop at a red light. I mean, look, some do, but for the most part, they don't. And electric bicycles and scooters, they actually exceed posted speed limits. So I just want that to be part of any statement on pedestrian safety.
So, Eric, is your friendly amendment that this pedestrian priority street study should include a review of enforcement for traffic calming measures, which includes stop signs, intersections, and everything?
It's more than that, because stop signs can be installed.
Eric,
but
I need wording.
Okay.
So you need to be able to propose wording that says, I would like to include a friendly whereas that says.
Okay, a friendly amendment that says there must be enforcement of road and safety rules to bicycles and electric bicycles.
About just enforcement of road and safety for all, because we want it for cars as well, correct?
There needs to be emphasis on bicycles and electric bicycles and scooters, because it seems that it's always just the vehicles, but with cameras, they don't do anything to stop that for cyclists.
Daddy?
I will consider a whereas that states, as Tammy said, that it is increased enforcement of road safety for all. Because again,
For all moving vehicles, which including but not limited to bicycles and cars, etc.
well, actually it's safety for all, but no.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right, Eric, you're good. Moving on. Next person, I think Joe Lerner said he had his hand up, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Joe? Joe?
How do you define FIDI?
FIDI is defined on the city maps.
What are I'd like to know what streets are included. Is it from the Brooklyn Bridge south? Is it from the river west?
If I remember, Betty, please correct me, it did not include the Seaport District.
Correct.
Historic Seaport District is excluded, but
Okay,
the areas beyond that are, because the funding for the, as was put in the first therefore be it resolved, was tagged to a FIDI plan.
well, actually, my thought is, what about Pearl Street on the west side of Pearl Street, which is not in the landmarks area? I want to know if Southbridge and other places
No.
are included. Why not?
It wasn't initially included. We can certainly, Joe, if you're looking to add a whereas.
I am.
That says that you would like to know furthermore what other pedestrian priorities could be extended throughout CB1.
No, I think we should put
Sure,
it.
part of Southbridge is included. Like I live on Gold Street, not Beekman or Water. That's definitely FIDI. So I don't know.
Well, I don't know if Pearl Street is FIDI. Is Pearl
Betty,
Street?
do you remember the
I have to look it up. This zone that is counted for this street priority is defined by the DOT, and it goes back to the money that Margaret Chin also gave to it. So it is a defined map area. Do I remember exactly the streets? No, I don't.
Well, I would like to put in Pearl Street and Fulton Street if it's not in there
Fulton is
already.
included.
Pardon me?
Fulton definitely is
part of
included,
FIDI.
and certainly parts of Pearl Street are.
What part? My question is the Southbridge Towers included in this
No.
resolution? Well, it should be. I want to make a friendly amendment that we include the area of Southbridge Towers in this resolution.
I would say that's inappropriate, so I won't do it because the DOT and everyone has already defined what is covered for
Joe,
this area of study.
Joe, it's not
A
that we,
separate resolution would be a different thing to look at.
Joe, what this one is about is a specific funding that was done for a specific geographic area. I hear what you're saying, and we could put something in there that says that the community board one is interested in seeing what other how this funding works for this group to be able to expand it throughout the Seaport area and other parts of our district. That will cover what you're saying and stay in line with this resolution. Would that work for you?
Is that going to be in the resolution or what?
We can do it as a whereas.
Okay, but you have no idea where I live, how many times I'm always being hit by all these guys.
I do, and it's really a comment on the street study and seeing how everything comes out, right?
It's a comment on all these commissioners.
This plan is a way to roll it out to others. It's a good suggestion, Betty, to be able to use this as, a potential blueprint to roll it out to other areas of CB1.
I'm sorry, I strongly disagree with that. I think that I don't want to take away from FIDI and what they're trying to accomplish for this very defined study. A separate resolution to deal with the issues of those around FIDI, I can see doing. I would wait to see what is suggested, because
Lucian
that may
has his
not
hand
agree.
Lucian has his hand up. Lucian?
Tammy and Betty, I just want to make a suggestion that it sounds like there's enough here for the committee to do a deeper dive on safety issues around Southbridge in that area, which could lead to additional requests for studies. I think that's to your point, Tammy, that leveraging what we do here, but there could be a lot more detail in exactly which areas are the most important in Southbridge in terms of where people are, near hit.
Gotcha. Okay, Richard Corman, Pat Moore, Mariama, 2-minute rules each. And then we go back.
Yes, I have a couple of questions. The first one is, we're asking for an accounting for the $500,000. What are we thinking if that money is somehow gone, spent elsewhere.
Can I refer that to Patrick Cannell?
What are we thinking? We're thinking outrage. I mean, the money was earmarked for a very specific purpose. We just want to make sure that if any of it has been spent, what parts of the promised study have been done. We'll find out a little bit more, I assume, at a forthcoming stakeholder meeting that the DOT has promised. But if the money was spent and not spent on this, that would not be a good outcome.
And then Richard, once we find that out, our next steps would be determined based on the outcomes of the information.
Okay. And we're asking the borough president and the council member to pledge something. Have they been talked to about what we're asking them to pledge to? And are they in agreement? Are they in support?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's good. And I just want to also encourage that when we talk about enforcement, that I agree with you, Tammy, and others, that it's across the board, including bicycles and what have you. We're looking for safety for all here.
Exactly. Thank you, Richard. Pat Moore, then Mariama.
So I'm going to ask similar to what Joe had to say. Betty, does it include Greenwich South? Because we're called FIDI whenever it's convenient, and when it's not convenient, we're not called FIDI. So does it include the area that I live in?
Patrick, I don't recall that it is, but
It does not. It's east of Broadway, Pat. It's the area that the study area was defined by DOT, and it pretty much matched up with the Make Way for Lower Manhattan plan, which did not include Greenwich South.
Right. Thanks. That's why I'm always angry, because whenever it's convenient, it's called FIDI, and when it isn't, we're excluded, and we need to have the same protections.
Sure.
I think that's the point that I was trying to make before, is that taking a look at the modeling, if you fix one, you're going to push the problems into everywhere else, and it's not a holistic fix for Lower Manhattan, because west of Broadway is about to be as busy, if not busier, in the next 10 years than east of Broadway. So, yeah. Mariama?
Well, Pat, you're actually now the newly created West FIDI in Assembly District 61, to be correct.
Aren't I Staten Island? I thought I was Staten Island.
Yeah, practically. I'm actually going to vote no, because I agree with Eric. I've been having a lot of problems with bikes, and I think the FIDI streets are already too small, and we already have a number of these bikes, often electric, on the sidewalks, that I'm not interested in giving bikes any more public property. So I'm going to be voting no. But to explain to those who are not familiar with Southbridge, exactly what Joe was getting at, you can't really include Southbridge as a complex. It's a private co-op of 9 towers that also has St. Margaret's House on the property. So each building is on a different street. So part of it would be in FIDI and part of it would not be in FIDI. So for example, with the part by the bridge where he was describing, we have a building there at the corner, 333 Pearl, the corner of Frankfurt and Pearl. That's not FIDI. Underneath, now you're in the Civic Center because you're literally across the street from One Police Plaza, the back of the municipal parking. So when we try to pursue this, I agree with including as many people or districts or areas as would like to be included. I personally don't want mine to be included, but I agree with including as many as they do. But we would have to go by street and certainly not a private housing complex. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariama. Cody is next.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I appreciate the addition of language that says enforcement for all as a cyclist. I do stop at stop signs. I observe all the rules. And just want to point out, though, that, in 2021, 274 New Yorkers or people were killed in automobile violence in New York. And so when we talk about cyclists breaking rules, keep in mind that a 2 to 3 ton car is a much worse collision to happen with the human being than with the cyclist. And again, I get it though, as far as like being annoyed with the cyclist and who break the rules, it's arrogant and wrong. And so, but rules for everyone.
Thank you very much, Cody. Richard Corman, is your hand still up? Or is this second round? If it's second round, please wait. Eric Flores is next, and then you.
Yes, second round.
Thank you.
Hi, sorry. I mean, I don't know if people know this or not. I do a lot of motor vehicle defense. And the New York City rules and regulations control the city itself, and bicycles are considered motor vehicles. These bicyclists have to follow all the rules of the road. So saying all or saying vehicles covers that all pursuant to those rules.
Okay. Thank you very much. Note that we are at the end of our time limit on resolutions. So think carefully, people. If you're not calling the question, what your next comment is. Pat Moore, Richard Corman.
We always go round robin with the bicycle issue. We all know that the bicycles are supposed to follow the rules of the road, but they don't, especially delivery people. So we need to make sure, and no one in the, you know, in the mayor's office seems, or DOT, whenever we request that they actually do some sort of campaign to make bicyclists understand they're supposed to follow the rules of the road, they don't. Okay, I'm shutting up.
Thank you. Sorry about that. You can do one all about enforcement and quality of life. Okay, Richard Corman, last one, and then we're gonna move. I'm gonna call the question.
I want a second, please.
I said, thank you. I did say Richard Corman. Oh, you want a second, sir? Let's keep going. If this isn't exactly about the resolution and anything in it, let's not start side conversations or perpetuate them. Richard.
Okay, I just wanted to comment, sort of back to Mariama about voting no. I'm not sure I understand why anyone concerned about cyclist rule following and the dangers that some of them perform would vote no against this, because this is a resolution to create a safer streets for everyone, and that's
also creates a lot of new biking provisions and a lot of new biking storage and parking.
Mariama, no cross chatter. I'm really sorry. We just have to get to a vote on this. The cross chatter time, Richard, for understanding about where she's going, you need to do it somewhat in the committee. If you've read the resolution, you see that there are a lot of things. The study was funded. You can vote any way that you want on this. It doesn't all have to be unanimous. All right. Paul Goldstein, are you calling the question?
I
have a comment about the bikes also.
I have a second comment.
Could let me just say that as somebody who worked for many, many years for the community board and elected officials, the number of complaints from people about reckless bike riders was one of the top complaints that we got in all the different offices that I worked in. So I think you, Tammy, and some others are trying to minimize that. I don't know why you don't just accept wording that says enforcement, including bikes, and then everyone would be happy. You acknowledge that the law says that, so why can't we just restate it in the resolution?
We did. That was accepted early on. It was enforcement of all kinds. It wasn't specifically targeted and included all enforcement.
Well, I think the bikes should be cited, not just all types. That's my opinion, and I don't know. Okay, you're obviously not willing to give in on that.
It's enforcement and everything, Paul. You know, you have to have the bikes follow the rules. You have to have the cars follow the rules. You have to have the people follow the rules. You know, somebody crossing in front of a bicyclist is just as dangerous, you know, for both the pedestrian and the bicyclist. And the bicyclist, yes, I've been clipped by a bicycle. I agree with you. They need 100% enforcement. But so do the cars, because they're driving a 2-ton vehicle that can cream everybody.
Yes, and just mentioning bikes and cars would take care of it. Okay.
Exactly. All right. With that, Joe, I think we've gotten everybody.
Well, I agree with Paul that we should put the word bicycle in there.
There
And
is
number
bicycle.
two, and number two is I mentioned Southbridge so they would know where Pearl Street is and that the entire Pearl Street is left out. And I have to vote no.
Okay. I do think you should go to transportation and we should request a study for the Seaport area as well as Civic Center and other areas. So that hopefully will take care of that. But with that, I'm going to call the question. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mimi?
All right. Go
Madam
easy on me.
Chair, Forsberg has to step out. I've lost video for some reason. I need to restart.
Thank you.
All
Maybe
right.
take it away.
Who is opposed?
Lerner.
Lerner.
James opposed.
James.
Copel opposed.
Bell.
Cole opposed.
Cole.
McHugh opposed.
McHugh.
Moore opposed.
You opposes.
Anyone else? Abstentions or recusals?
Froman abstains.
Curtis abstains.
Kettering abstains.
Goldstein abstain.
Lewinson abstain.
Kuchia abstain.
Okay, slow down a little bit. Let her catch up.
I got it. Anyone else?
Robinson abstains.
Any recusal? Anybody else?
Okay, what's the vote count?
So there's 7 oppose and then 7 abstain. 41 today are present, so we'll pass.
Thank you, everybody. Let's move on to the next resolution.
Next slide.
Madam Chair, Forsberg's back. Thank you.
Thank you, Forsberg.
This is coming back with regarding citizen reporting of hazardous obstructions. And this was presented at first last month, but it was pretty obvious that people weren't very unclear about what this law was and a little more information was needed. So we searched more and have added more. I want to remind you what this bill would do is it creates a new violation and civil penalty for hazardous obstruction by a vehicle of a bicycle lane, a bus lane when bus restrictions are in effect, a sidewalk, a crosswalk, or a fire hydrant when a vehicle is within 1,320-foot radius of a school building. So they're following this, in this law, they're following what's in the red light cameras and the school cameras. The goals of the legislation to create a functional curbside, to improve pedestrian safety, to improve cyclist safety, to increase bus speeds, and to protect fire hydrant access. The method, what are they doing with this law? 1, it allows citizen reporting. 2, it requires the DOT to implement rules for the evidence that needs to be submitted by those citizens, to develop a way for citizens to submit complaints, and also to set up a way to screen the complaints before they're passed on. Because the third thing is it uses the Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings, or OATH, to process those fines and to manage the contested tickets. So if you go to the next one. The rationale for this, that the law proposed would allow citizens to report illegal parking. This is Introduction 501/2022, so it's from this year. It would supplement the 2018 and 2019 legislation on placard abuse and dangerous parking by addressing the lack of enforcement by the New York City Police Department. As of May, the first precinct issued only 1 ticket for violating a bus lane in 2022, so for 5 months. In 2019, researchers from Hunter's College found that they looked at 42 bicycle lanes throughout the city except Staten Island, and found that there were an average of 3 vehicular obstructions per 10 city blocks that would force cyclists into traffic. So in other words, 1 over 5 months was a ridiculously small of what the measure of preventing the problem that definitely widely exists. 311 has also been found to be ineffective for enforcing parking violations, although the data is useful, because the NYPD has been closing complaints without any investigation or actions taken. So although reports to 311 regarding the types of illegal parking that are included in this bill were higher for our district in 2022 through June compared to monthly data from 2016 to 2021, we're getting really no enforcement whatsoever. And final, I think there's just one more slide. Well, you know, the 2021, another piece of interesting data, in 2021, the New York City Department of Environmental Protection, their annual report showed that 1,888 of 10,702 summonses, or 17.6% of these citizen reports, issued in response to citizen reporting of idling, resulted in the charges being dismissed. There is evidence that there is judicial discretion used by oath when there is citizen reporting. And the final reminder to people is that this piece of legislation is co-sponsored by our council member, Christopher Marte, and the reintroduction was done in response to our request to an April 22 CB1 resolution. So
I see hands up, Betty.
yes, and I'm going there. Jeff, then Paul.
Okay, I respect your committee, Betty. I agree with almost everything you guys do, but I disagree with this one. This to me is an example of addressing a real problem with an overreactive symbolic response that won't actually solve the problem and will create problems that are worse than the current situation. The problems that have been identified both in the committee meetings and the last several community board meetings have focused on the lack of placard or the placard abuse, parking, abuses by placard cars. This does nothing to help that. What they're doing now is already illegal. Or the things that we complain about are either illegal or if they're legal, they'll still be legal with this legislation. This legislation creates new violations in addition to the ones that currently exist. And these new violations are pretty serious changes in the way the roads work. I mean, today it's illegal to park in all these places that are hazardous obstructions. Today it's illegal to park there. This new legislation will now make it illegal to even stop there. It'll be illegal to stop in front of a fire hydrant. It'll be illegal to stand in front of a fire hydrant, which is currently legal. And compounding the problems is that these new restrictions that most drivers won't be aware of are only in effect 1,300 and something feet from a school, which is most of Manhattan, but it's going to be illegal on one side of the street, but legal on the other side of the street with no indication to the driver whether it's legal or not, unless you're going to be placing a million signs all over the city. So it creates an administrative nightmare in terms of all these new violations that are currently not violations at all. And it does nothing, I think, to solve the problem. The citizens who report only get paid, and that's their sole motivation for doing this, is to getting paid. They only get paid if the fines are paid. They don't get paid for reporting a violation. They get paid if the fines are paid. Do we really think that NYPD is going to be paying fines for their cop cars being parked in the wrong place, or for their placard holders being parked in the wrong place? Do we really think that someone that is going to be reporting these violations really wants to face?
Jeff?
They have to show up at the hearings. Are they?
Hand up your 2 minutes.
I'll wrap up. But I want to point out that it's going to be enforced against you and me. And I think others will speak to this problem of citizens ratting on one another. And this is not like the truck violations where you're reporting a violation not of your neighbors, but of some truck driver who's parking for 3 minutes and idling his truck. Now all they have to do is snap a picture of you pulling up in front of a fire hydrant, and that's a violation of the statute. So I think it's a statute that's ill-advised, won't do anything to solve the actual problem, and has terrible motivations to turn neighbor against neighbor. So I would urge people to vote against it.
Laura's off.
Thank you, Flores. Paul Goldstein, Cody, Morton. 2 minutes each, please.
I agree with many of the concerns raised by Jeff, but I specifically wanted to recommend that one of the whereas clauses be struck from the resolution. And that is the one that reads, parking abuse by NYPD employees is so well known and pervasive that Streets Blogs does an annual March Parking Madness series of articles that document and rate the worst abuse by an NYPD precinct. I think to just single out the NYPD is not really getting at the problem. There are so many agencies, city, state, and federal, that get these things, many more than police. And there are judges, there are elected officials, there are staff members on all those agencies. To single out the police, I think, is a mistake. And particularly when we're going to go celebrate National Night Out next week, it seems like not the greatest move for us. So I would recommend that we just eliminate that whereas. Any response on that?
Let me continue to hear from people. Thank you.
Cody, you're next. Morton, after Cody, and then Mitch.
Again, speaking as a cyclist, just this would give individuals, pedestrians, and cyclists some recourse. I mean, drivers know that they are breaking the law when they obstruct a bike lane, and the obvious way to protect bike lanes would literally be to put Jersey barriers or quick curbs, to separate cyclists from car lanes. But most bike lanes in New York are just strips of paint. And in the absence of, stronger or more defined barriers between bike lanes and traffic lanes, cyclists, which are essentially human eggshells on wheels, are at the mercy of 2 to 3 ton vehicles. And so anytime you swerve out into a lane where traffic is coming, it puts your life at risk. So that's just something to think about.
Thank you, Cody. Morton, Mitch?
Yes.
Mitch, could you put up the therefore be it resolved statements on the screen?
May I speak? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Proceed, please.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm a cyclist too, but I just feel like this resolution is an ad hoc attempt at a solution where you need a more comprehensive solution to the problem of safety and mobility around the financial district and the rest of CB1. There are a number of schools in the district: the Spruce Street School, PS 234, the Peckslip School, PS 150, which is moving to the new location. And there are all kinds of issues about pickup and drop off from those schools, which may involve blocking bike lanes from time to time. There's all kinds of confusion about the delivery vehicles, and the streets of our district are very, very congested, and people have enough difficulty picking up food from restaurants and making deliveries to when people order things from apartments. I mean, how are people going to get furniture delivered? How are Amazon and the other delivery services going to deliver? There needs to be a more comprehensive solution to this, not just this ad hoc solution going about creating new fines and creating more hassle for people in the district. And so I have to say, I would urge people a no vote on this, and I'm going to vote against this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch, Justine, Eric.
I'm putting my video on right now. All right, so quickly, I'm just going to focus on one or two little things that was kind of touched on, that while I feel 90 to 95% of this is wonderful, from last month, the thing that most of, or maybe at least half of the board had a problem with was the financial incentive for citizen against citizen. And it's still, that same thing is still in here, where I don't think anybody would have a problem in a financial incentive in reporting like a placard, because those people that work for the government agencies have to answer to a higher standard. So that's one thing that unless that can be taken out, that one citizen versus against citizen financial incentive. I have no problem with citizen reporting another citizen without a financial incentive, because we can do that for any quality of life violation right now. Number two, Betty, let me know on, there's a whereas where we're talking about, I'm trying to, Homeland Security, and I just think that one is a stretch. The spirit of Homeland Security, which I brought up before, had to do with terrorism, packages on the subway that are, could be something, like a bomb or something. Somebody reporting if you see a woman getting molested on the train or somebody getting shot. I don't think it was intended for this. So I think the Homeland Security thing is a stretch, and it lessens what that Homeland Security really should be for. So unless we could just kind of remove that one little a citizen against citizen incentive, financial incentive, then I would ask for everybody to vote against it, even though 95% of this, I think, works good for pedestrians, cyclists, and cars. Thank you.
Moving on, Justine.
Well, Betty, I asked about the withdrawal, about the Homeland Security, and I didn't get any type of feedback, Tammy.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Or does Betty want to wait like before and to continue with the feedback?
Continue, please.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'll be quick. I basically agree with what Jeff said and a few others. And I guess to me, the biggest takeaway I would say from this is that anybody who wants to make the complaints now can make them already. And apparently they fall on deaf ears. I don't know why anything in here would make it any different, because it's not like the citizens are going to be arresting anybody or doing something for their payment or being paid off for it. It's still going and still expecting for enforcement. So I think this goes back to our age-old issue about enforcement. And so I'm done. So for me, I would vote no on this. I don't think it's a good idea. And I think we need to be focused on enforcement. How we do it, I don't know, but that's enforcement is the issue. Thank you.
Eric?
Yeah, hi. This just creates snitches. I guess that's really the word. It creates negative behavior between citizens, and especially when there's a bounty, as another board member had said. This should be enforced by professionals who use their discretion. If something was done egregiously, and take into account there was no other way to drop somebody off. Everything else was, there was no other curb space. To take things into consideration before giving someone a summons. Also, this is really another form of taxation. Besides the bounty to the person reporting it, it's just another way of New York City to increase its tax revenue, and it shouldn't be done on law-abiding citizens. And this will never stop. Where will this end of citizens reporting on citizens? It can go on indefinitely.
Eric?
So.
Eric?
Yep.
We're only reporting the non-law abiding citizens, and then it goes to I'm sorry, but then read the legislation. It gets reported, and then there's a process. So if they're not found guilty, then they're not. You're presumed innocent until guilty, same as you are everywhere else.
What happens to the person that has fake plates? They're not law abiding and they won't be caught. I mean,
How do you know? How do you know that? I mean, that you're making a supposition. All right, let's keep going.
But that's the
Sarah?
way it's happening now. Things are people that don't have license plates. They don't get ticketed now. They don't
No,
get
but they
cameras.
could get towed. They can get towed for failure to have one.
If they have a fake one, they won't get told.
Sarah?
Well, right now, I know that there is no enforcement whatsoever on the bikeways or on the esplanade of the no electric bikes. My husband was cut off by an electric bike and broke both wrists. And just a Chinese delivery guy, and off he went. What we need is enforcement.
Yep.
And I don't see here enforcement. It's very concrete. We need enforcement. We need more police action. Okay, sorry. Thanks.
Susan Cole. And then just so everybody knows, I'm not doing second round. I'm also with my own hand up, which I'm going to go after Susan. I believe everybody else who has spoken needs to put their hand down. Susan, you're up.
Very quickly, I happen to agree with Jeff and a number of other people. I don't think we should be the enforcers, or that we have agencies, or create something else, or have DOT get more people, or have the police do it. It's not our job, and I just don't like it.
Okay. Richard Corman, I believe you spoke on this topic. I'm not 100%. Jimmy Sung.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so Richard, Jimmy, me, and then we go.
Yeah, I would just make a couple of points, which is that we could ask for enforcement all we want, and we simply know for years now we've been complaining about placard abuse and other forms of abuse out there, and there is no enforcement, and there isn't going to be any enforcement no matter what we say. The police have other probably much more important things to do than worry about placard abuse. That's certainly been clear. And this is a way, as we often talk about financial incentives. Well, this is a financial disincentive for people to disobey the law. And that's what it is. It's not targeting law-abiding citizens. It's reminding people that if they disobey the law, they can be subject to a penalty. And I think that message will go out, and fewer people will abuse the things that we've been complaining about for years.
Thank you, Richard. Jimmy Sung.
So if somebody breaks the law, somebody breaks the law. There's a couple couple persons ago. The person's ethnicity has nothing to do with it. So the person's Chinese, Japanese, Korean, doesn't matter. Okay, somebody breaks the law, breaks the law. There's no need to call out the person's ethnicity.
Agreed. Thank you, Jimmy. Okay, so I'm going to be the last commenter on this. I've been working on the placard issue, as anybody who knows me from the board knows, for I would say 8 years at this point. I tried working with Margaret Chin on this for a very, very long time. And at the end of the day, the simple problems that 311 and we have as a people is that people don't follow the rules that they've been given until they're caught. It's like, how many people do you know speed on a highway? But no one ever stops speeding until they're pulled over, and then they follow from there. This is a way that you can police the placards in a way, because the police will not do placard enforcement. I don't care if you have 1,000 more, parking enforcement agents. It just doesn't get done. And there's no way to have the police enforce the police. It's just not a tenable situation. DOT has very specifically said they are not necessarily in the form of enforcement. That is not theirs. So I support this legislation. I don't like the idea of people turning people in, but I think it's the same kind of thing that if we don't have an opportunity to have more eyes, it's a see something, say something society. And we are not in general, city of rule followers in the way that other people are. And this could go a long way to helping us clean and clear our streets for better pedestrian access and better access to fire hydrants and crosswalks and everything else and bus stops. I myself have reported placards parked in bus stops, and they have been many times, and they're just simply closed without fixing. Period. End of statement. And there's no way to get anything else done. So if this is where we end up, it's not 100%, but I'm willing to roll the dice on that. And that's my comment. And my 2 minutes are up. Betty, back to you.
No more, you're not taking anything else, Tammy?
Nope, no second call because we've already been here long enough.
Okay, Tammy.
Yes, I guess there isn't much more to say. The question is, I guess, to Tammy, would you rather us take this back to committee and look at it again or call a question? Because again, I'm very surprised. People keep saying neighbor against neighbor. When somebody blocks one of these things and harms their neighbor on a bike, they don't see that as neighbor against neighbor. For some reason, if it's a fine, then somebody picked on you. But if you injure somebody else, that's not considered unfriendly to your neighbor. I don't get it.
I don't either. I'm gonna say we called question. You know,
It's good with me.
I'd like to get our buses to the bus stops. I'd like to get kids to be able to cross the streets to the schools.
Oh, and I do want to remind people that Jeff was correct. They're not going to, city's vehicles aren't going to pay the fines. Hence, the people reporting them aren't going to get a percent. On the other hand, they're going to report them. Why it's really good to get some of the information out there about who is breaking these rules so that it's known by the departments and the city.
They still get ticketed. It's not like they
Right.
wouldn't get ticketed. They just don't have to pay it. And at least
Right, I
I'd
think
like
it's
to be able-
worthwhile.
Right. I'd like to personally be able to see if the Department of Actuarials has 1,000 tickets, then maybe we should talk to the actuarials.
I have a question. Why would anything change than what they're doing now when someone calls?
Because it goes through a different process and it goes to the same other kinds of things of citizen reporting that's out there. It goes to the same process that for idling trucks. That's the answer.
311, right?
Yeah.
I thought we had to call the question, or maybe
Oh,
I should call the
yeah.
question.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank
second.
you.
I second.
Listen, Mimi, how fast can you roll call this and just go down?
As fast as I usually do.
Okay, let's roll.
All right, so we're gonna roll call. Blank?
I'm going to reverse my spot here. I forget what that's called, but I'm allowed to go after.
Later. Okay.
Second roll call.
Thank you.
All right, we'll get back to you. Brown Kennedy?
Brown Kennedy abstains.
All right. Cameron?
Cameron, yes.
Cassell?
Cassell, yes.
Thank you. Shane?
Chang votes yes.
Thank you. Chapman?
Chapman votes no.
Thank you. Charkoudian?
Charkoudian abstains.
Thank you. Cole?
Cole votes no.
Thank you. Corman?
Norman votes yes.
Thank you. Kucha?
Kuchia votes no.
Thank you. Curtis?
Curtis votes no.
Thank you. Flora? Flora's back yet, I guess.
Flores, yes.
Flora's yes. Thank you. Flynn, no. Forsberg?
Forsberg votes no.
No. Friedman?
Friedman is a yes.
Froman?
Roman, no.
Galloway?
Galloway, no.
Goldstein?
Goldstein, no.
Thank you. Grant? Kenny Grant?
Grant. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Gupta?
Gupta, no.
Thank you. James?
James, no.
Thank you. Joyce?
Joyce abstains.
Thank you. Ju?
Who abstains?
Thank you. Kay?
Kay, yes.
Thank you. Canal?
Canals, yes.
Thank you. Kettering?
Kettering, no.
Thank you. Capel?
No.
Thank you. Lerner?
No.
Thank you. Lewison?
No.
Thank you. You could say your name before, just for the audio transcript. Lyon?
Lyon, yes.
Thank you. McHugh?
McHugh, no.
Thank you. Meltzer?
Yes. Meltzer, yes.
Thank you. Minsley?
Minsley, no.
Thank you. Moore?
Moore, yes.
Thank you. Robinson?
Robinson abstains.
Couldn't hear you.
She abstained.
All right. Thank you. Schneck?
Nick votes no.
Thank you. Jimmy Song?
Yes.
Thank you. Vera Song?
Vera, no.
Thank you. Z?
Z, yes.
Thank you. You?
You votes no.
Thank you. Salter? Andrew Zelter?
Zelter abstains.
Thank you. And we're back up to Blank.
Blank abstains.
Thank you. And then it's another one that's missing. 1 second. Maybe we're all good. All right. So in favor is 14, opposed is 20, and
14 yes, 20 no.
no. And then abstain is 7, so it does not have.
Motion does not carry. Betty, let's move on to the next one. Betty, you have
I'm sorry, that's it for me.
Okay, great. Youth and Ed, Tricia, report.
Hello. Rosa actually covered the meeting, but I'm going to give the report. She was kind enough to send some notes across. I just want to thank her for doing that. I didn't know it until the last minute. I didn't have Wi-Fi. But as it turned out, we had a very quick meeting. We didn't have any resolutions, which was helpful. And the high school admissions, we did receive a modicum of info from the DOE. It's not very granular, but it makes it seem as though this year was much better in terms of our downtown kids and their high school admissions results. They're boasting an 86% match within their first to fifth choices, a 92% match within their first to 10th choice, and 94 1 to 12. That leaves only 6% of kids without a choice, which is lower than last year. But I will be digging into this because I am hearing stories that are not good. So we have some sorting to do, but I wanted everybody to know that right now, they're saying that the results are better this year. They claim that 77% of our kids got their first to third choice, which is, much better than last year. But again, have yet to confirm these results and sort of see the parameters on which this data was run. And so I will be reporting on that again in September as I hear back from the middle school advisors. So that's my update on that. The Harbor School, we met with the Harbor School and the SCA and several of our elected officials last month. They came to the room after sending us, as you all might remember, just disastrous plan of putting the swimming pool and gym, both of which were half the size of what they should have been, in the middle courtyard that is in the middle of this building, like imagine a squished donut, and that's where they had it. It's a historical building. It would have been very difficult to retrofit something like that. We were surprised they came to us with that. We asked them to go back and deliver us a regulation size high school gym, and at the very least, a dive pool that is 75 yards long, so that at least the money that they're spending on this pool would have more use. They came back and they actually presented 3 ideas to us, none of which they could commit to, but it let us know that they were willing to look outside the box on this. They are not focusing on fitting it into the courtyard area anymore. They're looking at doing some demolition. They're doing some, they're thinking about things in a different way. I can't say that they're still open to putting the gym outside in the yard. We still do not have a lease from the Governor's Island. As you know, we've been pushing to obtain the yard around the school. We passed a resolution on that. They still have not agreed to that. They seem focused on this potential commercial use. And right now the bike rental setup is still on the front lawn. But we are adding 400 kids to the school. There's 1,000 kids, and to say that they can stay in the building but they can't walk on the grass in the yard, I think will be a huge mistake. So we do have the support of all of our elected officials now. Things are moving along. We have another meeting, as Chris Marte's team said tonight, on August 11th. So I'll be reporting back on this again in September, hopefully with a plan to share and very good news. PS 150, the walkthrough was while I was away. Rosa attended with Nico, the principal, along with several other people. They did say that progress had been made, but it is alarming that the SCA has still not permitted Nico, the principal, to gain access to the school even for a hard hat tour, which frankly at this point isn't even necessary. And it was the same thing we went through with Terry Ryder at 276. And the fact that she was unable to weigh in on things that were taking place in terms of the design and layout of the rooms led to some really difficult setups that she had to work with. So we were really hoping they would agree to have Nico walk through, but they did not. This is something we're going to be working on changing along with, an audit of the SCA, which I have been talking about, and we are taking steps to put into place, because this is just not a functional way to build our schools. The educators have to weigh in on, how schools look. And there's been this shroud of secrecy around this construction, and this school opens in another, 6 weeks. So we really need to get him inside the building. So we're making a big push on that. The DOT, things do seem to be coming together for the closed street, the westbound lane of Edgar Street in the mornings and in the afternoon recess, which is great. We still have yet to establish who is going to oversee that, the coning of those things. And, this has been a huge challenge over at Peck Slip. So we really do need crossing guards there. We need to know how that's going to look, how that school is going to close, who is going to be taking care of this. And so we're waiting for more information from them on it. But I was happy to see that the south sidewalk has been extended. I'm happy to see the progress at the school. And so we are grateful for those positives, but we don't have the bus stop information. We don't have the left door bus confirmed, and we don't have the closed street completely buttoned up. So we're going to be working on that as well over the next 6 weeks. I won't be able to report on that again until it's happened, but I will be working on it behind the scenes. Rosa, did I get to everything that you want to say? Happy to have you add.
I'm gonna say yes, and I don't know. I think Tammy and Lucian were actually on the actual site walkthrough. I was not, so
And
they
Betty.
would have more information. Oh, and Betty, so they would have more information on specifics that were discussed during that walkthrough.
Okay, great. Well, I'll let them, add things that they feel could be useful to know, but that's all from me.
I think it's a work in progress. I think they will see what happens when they open. They have the ability to close the north side of Edgar Street for arrivals and departures with cones, and they will have to staff it themselves. The biggest thing is, as we all know, is to get crossing guards so we don't have the same situation that we have had at both 276 and Spruce when they opened, with people, pedestrians being either hit or killed. So that's the most important thing. I think that was it. Thank you, Tricia. Let's move on to Patrick Cannell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Land use, no resolutions this month. I'm working without notes, so I'll be really quick. Two items to report on. First, we got an update from Toby at Empire State Development on 5 World Trade Center. The two main headlines from that report were number one, that the board of the ESD and the board of the LMDC, two separate boards, were meeting this past week to formalize actions to begin taking steps to develop the property in accordance with the plan that they've laid out to us before. The other headline, and Toby made sure that it is important to stress, is that the plan as it's currently envisioned calls for, at a minimum, 25% affordability for the tower. Obviously, the community board and groups in the community have called for more, including up to 100% affordability. There's certainly no commitment to that, but there's a commitment to listen how they can potentially increase that. My understanding from news reports is that both of the boards voted and the matters moving forward. We did not have time to do a resolution, and so what we did instead was a chair's letter to ESD, to the chairs of the boards of ESD and LMDC, urging them and their board members to take a pause on any voting this week, because the community's concerns and questions that we've expressed in a prior resolution and in other meetings, including through the CAC, hadn't been answered, but evidently we were ignored, and the matter moved forward. The other item, we got an update from the leadership at Fulton Stall Market, and basically the headline is they're still trying to work out their lease issues with Howard Hughes and EDC. But the good news is that Councilmember Marte is on the case, and their office is lending a hand. I guess we'll continue to hear more from them, and we've promised to stay in touch and see what we can do to help. So that's it for land use.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Francis Curtis, take us to licensing. After licensing, just so everybody knows, we have Jason Friedman, who is the last one with roll call resolutions tonight.
Okay, I'll try to go real
PC
fast.
before
So,
it.
Oops, sorry, I forgot you, Justine.
I want to say thank you to the committee for their support during my maiden voyage at that meeting that we had. Okay. So as you can see, we have 5 resolutions and 1 report, and the report is on 38 Water Street. We reached out to them several times, and there was no response. So I think we're just going to leave it alone and see what happens in the future. Now, out of the 5 resolutions, I'd like to take I would like to take 4 of them all together, because they were non-controversial and they all kind of responded to the stipulations and to the things that the committee was proposing.
Francis.
The 120.
Yeah, I was going to say, before we take them all together, for Mimi's recording, could you do me a favor and call out the 4 addresses all at once before you go into the detail for each of them?
Okay.
Just Tribeca.
Yeah. Yeah, Tribeca was 23 Park Place, and they agreed to all of the contents and the stipulations that we offered them. 41 Murray Street was the same. 127 in Civics, that was, yeah. Civics, Seaport Civic Center, 127 John Street, they were amenable. And 150 Nassau Street, despite there were some community members that showed up to the committee meeting to talk about some of the issues that was happening in the neighborhood, and the establishment agreed to abide by what the committee was asking, and it's in the resolution. However, 121 Fulton Street, who showed up here in the public and spoke at the public comment, they were actually, I have to say, the committee was very impressed with their enthusiasm and their history of owning different properties, in the city, and we would welcome them as, really responsible owners to the neighborhood, but they wanted what they wanted, and in terms of they felt like they should get 4 a.m. because that's what the previous owner had, and the issue that they brought up was about the Sunday closing at 10 p.m. Because there's no other place in the they went as far to say as there's no other place in the neighborhood where somebody could get something to eat, after 10 p.m., which we all know that that's not true, because there are quite a number of other establishments that are open, that have licenses and that are open later than 10 p.m. But they are a new license to the community, and that was our offer. But we even went as far as to offer them 2 a.m. on Monday for Sundays where there was a Monday holiday, where they so that they can they can extend their hours on the Sunday before a Monday holiday.
Francis, there's a typo right there. Make it to the 2 a.m. is correct, but it says 2 p.m. on the fourth whereas. So
Right.
it's a
No,
typo.
yes, he changed it.
Well, no, well, I'm looking at it, just says 2 a.m. So on, that's okay. I mean, it says 2
Right.
p.m. on mine.
Right. That's yeah, we went through that.
It should be 2 a.m., correct?
It says it, Mitch.
Okay, no, I'm
It
looking
says
at
it,
an old
Mitch.
one then, I guess. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it was corrected. And most of these venues are all seem to fall into the category of large venue. So we had to include something in the where is it in the, could you scroll up so where, oh yeah, in the whereas is the establishment. Right, with that, she highlighted, the establishment is considered a large venue. The establishment is considered a large venue, a large establishment designed to hold 75 people or more, blah, 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 blah. So we had to put that in because we realized after the fact that they are all large, that these particular ones are large venue, they fall in the large venue category, and that we will be it resolved that we will evaluate any kinds of alterations or renewal requests against the large venue stipulation requirements in the future. So with those considerations for 121 Fulton Street, they were and it was interesting that they didn't have any residents show up to offer any support. It was all, all of the people that spoke in the public session were all owners. So it was about the business and making the money, not about the residents saying, we're dying here, we need to have this place open, because we have no place to go and eat. I would, if the committee has no other input,
We taking it
to
all
this,
together? I see Betty
I
Kay has
would.
her hand up, actually. Sorry, Francis.
Oh, okay. Betty?
Actually, I don't buy into not allowing going to midnight on Sundays, simply because they are a proven business. You may not like they're not on your block, they're on somebody else's block while they're doing it. But if we really want to promote success in businesses at what is a very difficult financial time, a time when we're
Right.
trying to rebuild and reopen our community, I see no
Exactly,
reason
yeah.
to not give them, it's trivial. to try to harm them for no real gain for the community.
We didn't see it that way, and we offered them, and if you look on the calendar, there's at least one Monday in every month where there's, it's a holiday, so they get to make a little more money, and they have taken advantage on a very, very narrow and busy street to use the outside restaurant, the open space, and they have space inside, because they're one of the ones that fall into the category of large venue, because they have space inside for over 100 people, but they insisted they were flexible in terms of the amount of space that they have in the outside area, and they cut it down. I forget how much they did, but they were insistent upon having that as well. So the committee felt like, we gave a little, they should just wait another year and come back, period.
Francis, you've got
Yes.
5 more hands up, so I'm going to say two, again, holding people to 2 minutes apiece. Thank you, Betty.
I can't see hands.
I
You
gotcha.
have to call them.
I got your back. We're going to go Jeff,
Okay.
Susan Cole, Morton, Gerald, and Alice.
So I'm first.
Yes, you are, sir.
I'm empathetic as well to the owner's request to stay open until 12 on Sundays. I'm also generally deferential to what the licensing committee feels is appropriate. And I see Susan speaking after me, so I'll be interested to hear what Susan says as well. I mean, it does appear that they are proven operators with appears a good operation record. It does make a difference. I mean, I'm not a business person in the restaurant industry, but Sunday without a holiday Monday is a different day than Sunday with a work day the next day. And I would imagine, from a business perspective, it does make a difference to them. And from someone going out to dinner at night, it makes a difference to a customer as well. So I'm empathetic, and I'm going to listen to what the others on the committee have to say about it, but I would certainly be supportive of giving them to midnight if others agree.
Susan Cole?
At the meeting, and I want to thank Francis and On Edge and the committee for doing all this yeoman's work. We have had numerous complaints from this place, the Chop House. It's not been without its problems, and neighbors.
Not
the
Chop
way I
House.
understood it.
Susan, she's talking about 121.
The Chop House. 121.
I got it, guys. It's not 120. It's 121 Fulton. The people who spoke, who in the public session.
Yes.
Right. It was yeah.
Okay.
It's not Chop House though. It's
Okay.
It's going to be Blue Haven South.
Yeah, it's a new one. I don't know. I wasn't there. But when Jeff asked, we have found that the real issue for a lot of the residents in the community is that they do like the idea of Sunday, and most of the restaurants have agreed to this, Jeff. They don't feel it is taking away from them when we give them later hours on the other days. And we try to make compromises. And as you know, we're really very open to all of this. But neighbors really do feel that Sunday is a big deal. It's a school, whatever it is, they would like. We have gotten good feedback from that. And that's how we've done it recently. And that's all I have to say, except thank you, On Edge and Francis.
All righty, moving to the next person. Morton, Gerald, and Alice.
Okay, I'm next.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I would speak as someone who lives down the block, and also someone in my business, my legal practice, has represented restaurants a lot in the past. I mean, I think that the restaurant, if they are good people and seem to be professional in terms of running the restaurant, would deserve the benefit of the doubt. And if they feel that it would be helpful to have to survive, to have an additional 2 hours on a Sunday, I think there should be some deference to that. Like they said, a lot of restaurants fail, especially in their first year. The 2 restaurants there before, the Ainsworth went out of business possibly because of the pandemic. And there was another one, one at 121, I forget what it was called, but I've lived on the block for 10 years. And, you know, there's Joe's Pizza on the corner. There's the Fulton Transit Center. It's a very busy area, and the busyness goes well into the night, even especially during the warmer weather. And I think just additional 2 hours doesn't seem on one night a week. If they feel it would be helpful to help their business survive, I would be inclined to support that. Thank you. And as speaking also, it's like I said, someone not just on a member of the board, but someone who lives on the block. Thank you.
Morton, I need you just to remember, if you saying that now that I know that you are an attorney who works with restaurants, if they are a current client or a future client, just know you need to recuse.
Okay, I can recuse myself, but I never.
You don't need to unless they are a current client and you have a financial interest in any of their.
I don't know these people. I've never met them. I never represented them. I would say that from.
Morton, got it. It was just a friendly reminder. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Let's move on. We have Gerald, whose hand was down. So now Alice Blank.
I'd like to call it to question this and all the resolutions, if that's possible.
Second.
Thanks.
Okay. So the question I have for Francis is, you said 4 originally. So which ones are you taking together? 23 Park Place, 41 Murray, correct?
41 Murray, 127 John, and 150 Nassau.
So you're going to take 38 Water and 120 separate.
That was a report. That was.
Okay, gotcha. So we're just going to take 121 separate. Gotcha. All right, so call the question for 4, and then we'll run a question for the 121.
Okay, call the question.
Come on.
Second. Got it. All right, cool. Is anybody opposed to these 4 resolutions? Any one of them? Does anybody want to abstain or recuse themselves?
I'm going to abstain. I'm going to abstain on all. Recuse myself rather on all votes on liquor licenses for restaurants. I do have represented other restaurants in the neighborhood. I do feel there should be the more restaurants in the neighborhood, the better. But I'll abstain. Okay, I'll recuse myself rather.
Okay.
Okay, you're good, and I'll have Lucian work with you on what you need to recuse going forward, because you don't necessarily have to. Okay. All right. With that, you've got the votes on the 4. There was a call to question on the 121 Fulton, and I didn't hear any amendments.
Yeah, as stated by the committee.
Correct.
For the 10
p.m. on Sunday nights, unless it's a holiday
on Sunday,
weekend.
and the extended time on the Mondays, the weekends when Monday is a holiday.
Perfect. Okay, call the question. And it was seconded already, so we're good.
All right, so for 121, anybody opposed? Anyone want to abstain or recuse themselves?
Galloway will abstain.
Galloway.
Does abstain.
I'm recusing.
Kay is going to abstain.
Sorry, I only got Galloway and Kay, but it sounded like there was somebody in between you two.
Minsley is recusing.
Minsley, okay.
Forsberg's going to abstain on the basis that I do not understand this 10 p.m. issue for established businesses, especially even on a Sunday.
Okay, abstention vote taken. Keep
Thank you.
going.
I'm sorry, what was that? I've got Galloway, Kay, and Forsberg as abstaining. Minsley is recusing. Is there anyone else?
Corman votes no.
Corman, no. And Lyons, you said abstain?
Abstain.
All right, thank you.
Robinson, abstain.
Anyone else? Alrighty, it passes.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you so much. Justine, quick report at 9:19, and then we go to Jason Friedman.
Sounds good. Just reports from me, and I am tired of my clock. So 3 things to talk about. First is Portside at Brookfield Place. They came in and talked with us, and they got some feedback from the community as to what's going on there. And the takeaway is they work and make some changes to the way that their seating area is set up, because it becomes a bottleneck going around through there. And then also loud music. Loud music has been irritating to the people that are sitting around there, but also to the folks in Gateway Plaza, especially the lower floors. So they agreed to check the decibel levels and maybe reposition the speaker or whatever. So that was positive. It was a good interaction. They agreed to take phone calls if there was a problem, and they'll come back and talk to us in September for a postmortem. Second, Tunnel to Towers. We had Susan Starr, the director, who came, and some folks from her office. So you know the Tunnel to Towers race is going to be happening on September 25th. It's a Sunday, as usual. And again, as usual, they're going to be coming in to set up the day before. There will be road closures. They said that they had gotten some feedback, and maybe it was Lucian who said he also had gotten some feedback about folks, or some folks, not knowing about the closures and not having notice ahead of time. So they also agreed to do more outreach with local papers, with the BPCA, for their newsletter, for community board, and to get that information out there. And they had some really nice things to talk about what they're planning to do and how they're planning to do it, and the different things that they're doing with the money that they raised to help people who are veterans and disabled people, and of course, injured firefighters. So it's a good organization. So we were happy to have them come back. And last was the most controversial, I suppose, of my piece of the evening. We were combined with the environmental committee. So we started off with staging for the South Resiliency Project in Battery Park City. And so they did give us some information. Some of the same slides that Alice went through before were put forth. And I guess just high level, because I only have 2 minutes left, 2.5 minutes. High level is that they did not get back to us with all the questions that we asked about the staging. We still have questions about the buses. We still have questions about bus stops. We have questions about how they're going to be interacting with the schools. We heard from the Jewish Heritage Museum, from testimony of people versus them coming in to speak, but saying that they don't have confidence that the BPCA is going to give them access, and they're very concerned about that. So what we agreed to do is create I'm going to call it a working group, but that's not the right word. Just like a committee of people, the community board, some folks from the neighborhood. We'd like to pull in there the PTAs, the Jewish Heritage Museum, whomever, and also actually folks at 50 Battery Place, because they're going to be so severely impacted, as well as the BPCA folks, and then whoever the people are going to be on the ground who are going to be doing the construction. They did promise to be there every day, but we're going to get phone numbers, and we're going to have people to call to see how it's happening in real time. They give us some working hours. What else can I tell you? That was big things. And something else that we could, that were issues that were.
Here's the end. If you are interested in participating in the working group.
Okay, here you go. Yes, please let us know, right?
Please email Lucian.
Yep.
At the community board. It will be an official working group, as we have done before with
perfect.
BPCA.
Thank you. Yep.
In terms of the bicycle working group and other things like that, it will be a working group. We would like our local electeds to be a part of that as well, because we don't feel that there's enough local representation in the discussions and decisions made. We have said.
That sounds perfect. Okay, so I was not there yet, but I was okay. Good. Thank you for that. I also want to note that Laura Gray, who's running the site, and she's in charge at this point, has said that they are going to be doing salvage work of some of the physical artwork and different stuff that way, but they're also taking control of the plants and trying to salvage as much of the plantings and the trees as they possibly can. They did talk about areas that were going to be left open, and they said that there will be access to Pier A pretty much throughout the construction. And they confirmed that the Battery Park City Authority is paying for all of the South Resiliency project, and that includes, and also actually the whole project, that would include 88 acres outside of Battery Park City, as well as the 92 acres that are within Battery Park City. They're paying for that through their bondings that they've taken, and that is because they needed to make edges around their island. And I'm done. 5 minutes. Thank you.
Justine, you rock. Thank you very, very much. Jason Friedman, take us home. No, you have two resolutions.
I just got one question, just the
Oh,
date.
Francis, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I didn't give
apologize.
questions.
No,
Sorry,
just, I
Francis.
just want the date of the race, the
The
tower.
Tunnel to Towers, September 25th, Sunday.
Okay, thank you. That's it. That's
Welcome.
it.
I don't know if we are doing a community board one team. That has always been a long tradition by Tom Goodkind. We will ask Jill Goodkind if she's going to put something together. If anybody from community board one would like to do that and flag and be our flag waiver for the CB, please contact Justine.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Jason Friedman, landmarks and preservations, take us home. You have two resolutions. The last one, 70 Pine Street, must be a roll call. And it's 9:25. If you're fast, we can be out soon.
Okay, so we had two items. The first was modifications to an interior landmark and exterior landmark, a beautiful building, 32 Avenue of Americas. The applicant wanted, well, that's actually 70 Pine, another beautiful building with it's another interior landmark. In any case, basically for the first one, the applicant wanted to remove a whole set of original doors into the lobby of the building. There's a couple errors in the resolution. One is I attributed the building to the wrong person, so we'll clean that up. And then we'll just talk about 70 Pine. 70 Pine, another interior landmark, the AIG building, gorgeous building. The applicant wants to put some freestanding structures in the lobby. Generally, we thought that it kind of obscured the sightlines of the beautiful staircases and materials that are throughout the lobby. So we actually agreed, most of us, to write a negative resolution on both items. I know Gerald had some comments about the error in attributing the first. I know Betty had made some comments to me about some revisions. I don't know if she has her hand up yet. I can take questions on either of these. I wouldn't call them controversial, but we weren't able to come to in a room an agreement that we liked what was being proposed in either building, in fact. So it's two negative resolutions. Betty, do you want to speak on your comments? I'm losing people here. Connection.
Yes, I do. Which of the resolutions do you want me to address first? Because I have some modifications that I'd like on these. Therefore, be it resolved.
Yeah, let's do the one that's up right now, which is the Avenue of Americas, the picture that's up.
Okay, and the wording that I'd like, because I had suggested wording, as
Yep.
you know. What I'd like to do is the way the wording would be, and it doesn't get rid of what it says, it simply adds some things for clarification. That is that CB1 recommends that the Landmarks Preservation Commission reject any proposal for 32 Avenue of the Americas that consists of the removal of any original materials, that the applicant work with the staff to improve accessibility into the building while using as many of the existing doors, minus vestibules, as possible, and that any new doors removed for accessibility reflect the style and materials used in the original doors.
So I would take that as a friendly amendment. I don't know procedurally if we have to vote on that or anything, or call the question. Tammy?
If you accept that, that's fine. It goes in
Okay.
line with what the resolution already says. So I don't think that there's anything that seems in line with with where you currently are. It's
Great,
just
so let's take that in.
And then let me know if you want me to tell you the other one or you want to talk to
No,
other
let's
people
do that,
about the
Betty.
same.
Let's do the other
location.
one. It's
Jason,
because-
let's do this one because the next one has to be roll call. So let's do them one at a time. I apologize, Betty.
That's fine.
And you have Desi and then you have Gerald, please, Jason.
Desi.
No question. Just want to tell you that I love that background there.
Oh, the Lionel Richie. Okay, yes, great.
Yes.
Thank you for the relief, Gerald.
There we go. I couldn't get to my mute button. Yeah, thanks, Jason. I think it's all good. I don't know if you need me to speak to any of the other. I guess you made the correction on the name of the architect, and then my only other amendment would be to change some of the verbiage from the term blessed to whatever it was I put in there earlier.
Fortunate.
Fortunate. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take that change in too.
Yeah. We may be blessed too, but anyway.
Alice Blank, you're next.
Call to question.
Second. Mimi, take it away.
Anyone opposed to the resolution about 32 Avenue Americas? Anyone want to abstain or recuse himself? Passes. Thank you.
All righty. Now, Jason, take it away, 70 Pine, and then we'll go in order. If your hand is up, please, from the last resolution, please put your hand down. I've only seen, there we go. Perfect. Thank you.
So Jason, I have a question.
Go ahead. Is that Justine? I can't
It
see.
is, sorry. So the picture we're looking at, they're looking to put that thing that to me looks like a big piano, but is not, in front of the staircase? Is that the?
Yes,
what they're
two of
proposing?
those in front of the staircases kind of meet each other at that point in the lobby.
And this resolution saying no way, right? Oh my God.
Yeah,
come back.
unfortunately, we're not seeing a lot of applications lately that we like. You know, I'm sure we all would like more activity in these lobbies and stuff, and more business for the businesses. But I think
Not like
generally
this.
we thought it was too much.
Yeah, the seating maybe. Not that I like that seating, but okay, agree with you. Thank you.
May I just add, Jason?
Go ahead.
Justine, it is not a singular element. If you look to the left, you see the pink area. It's like, a third of the lobby is their proposal. And there's several seating areas that they want to introduce, blocking these incredible views. But more importantly for me, this is now a residential tower with a small hotel component. But again, this is a place of rest for people when they come home. And so for you to introduce a noisy bar public area just makes no sense. And what is wrong with beautiful empty spaces that we enjoy? Not everything has to get monetized. And so just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you, sir.
You have a hand up from Betty and a hand up from Alice. In that order.
Betty, let's do it.
Betty, we can't hear you.
Sorry. I'm going back and forth between screens. I would like to also make some recommended verbiage changes for the therefore be it resolved statement. Again, nothing is cut out. There is a few little bit of addition in order to make it, to clarify it a bit. The wording I suggest is that CB1 recommends the Landmarks Preservation Commission reject the modifications to 70 Pine Street lobby because the location and height of the proposed kiosk-like structures disrupt the line of sight to many of the historically significant features of the original interior landmarked lobby.
That's great. So we'll bring that in too.
Yes.
Call to question.
Second.
Second. Third.
This is roll call, 9:34. Take us home.
All right. Blank.
Blank, yes.
Thank you. Brown Kennedy.
From Kennedy, yes.
Thank you. Cameron.
Cameron, yes.
Thank you. Cassell.
Cassell, yes.
Thank you. Chang.
Chang, yes.
Thank you. Chapman.
Chapman, yes.
Thank you. Charkoudian.
Charkoudian, yes.
Thank you. Cole.
Poll, yes.
Thank you. Corman.
Gorman, yes.
Thank you. Kucha.
Kuchia, yes. Thank you.
Curtis.
Curtis, yes.
Thank you. Flores.
Flores, yes. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Mimi, yes. Thank you. Good night. Forsberg.
Forsberg, yes.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Friedman.
Friedman, yes.
Thank you. Froman.
Yes.
Thank you. Galloway.
Galloway, yes.
Thank you. Goldstein.
Goldstein, yes.
Thank you. Grant.
Grant, yes.
Thank you. Gupta.
Gupta, yes.
Thank you. James.
James, yes.
Thank you. Joyce.
Joyce, yes.
Thank you. Ju.
Two, yes.
Thank you. Kay.
Kay, yes.
Thank you. Canal.
Canal, yes.
Thank you. Kettering.
Kettering, yes.
Thank you. Copel.
Copel, yes.
Thank you. Lerner.
Lerner, yes.
Thank you. Lewison.
Lewinson, yes.
Thank you. Lyon.
Lion, yes.
Thank you. McHugh.
McHugh, yes.
Thank you. Meltzer.
Meltzer, yes, and thank you.
Thank you. Minsley.
Minsley, yes.
Thank you. Moore.
Laura, yes. Everybody enjoy your August.
Thank you. Robinson.
Robinson, yes. See
Thank you.
in September.
Schneck.
Schneck votes yes.
Thank you. Jimmy Song.
Jimmy Song vote yes.
Thank you. Parasong.
Vera, yes.
Thank you. Z.
Z, yes.
Thank you. You.
You votes no.
Thank you. Seltzer.
Seltzer, yes.
Thank you. Have a great month, y'all.
Awesome. With that note, it is 9:37. We have no new business that I know of. We have no old business. I am adjourning the meeting. 9:37. Thank you, Manhattan Community Board 1. Have an amazing summer. I will see anybody who would like to show up, including the executive committee, in August. And otherwise, go forth, enjoy Lower Manhattan, go to the islands, enjoy our businesses, enjoy the parks, and I see you soon.
Take care.
Good night, everybody. Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.